it, and we've got like 1 o'clock available tomorrow, and are you still at this house, and blah 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 blah. And so I said, by the way, like, who are you with? Like, what's your company? And so
Good
she
question.
said some number. I said, I'm going to do a little research on this before I invite people over to my house. Like, well, we're out there tomorrow, and time's going to. I said, yeah, but I'll ask my neighbors too, but I'll do a little research on it. She hung up on me.
Busted.
Like,
Trying to pull a fast one on Brett Martineau.
I mean,
not up in here.
Hung up on me.
Yeah. Well, because
what kind of telemarketing
she
is
got
that?
caught, Brent. The fix is in. Okay, like you called her out. She got scared and she ran away.
She did.
Good job.
I almost, what I want to do in that situation is call them back.
And
they
say
don't
what?
pick up.
They don't,
And
right?
say what? Hey,
Telemarketers
we
don't
lost
pick
you.
back
There's
up.
no way they'd
No,
pick up.
they didn't pick up. That's not their job, Brent.
No.
I fell
You
for,
pick up,
I
not
fell
them.
for one that left me a voicemail and it said call back and do like #96 to be called on put on our do not call list.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that put me on their call
for
more
sure.
than once a day
I don't think
list.
do not call lists exist.
Well, I mean, I had one today that was for like my car warranty. Like, hey, do you want to extend your car warranty?
The car warranty people, man, they call
I'm
a
all
lot.
set. No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, go get a car. 0%, 84 months at most places right now.
Is that what it is, really?
Just about everywhere.
I don't know. I'll be honest. Not sure what that means, but
Oh, that's
sounds
good.
good.
That's really
yeah,
good.
sounds
That's
great.
0% for 7 years.
Hey, I'm still trying to figure out how to use my credit card, Brent. All right, so
That's true.
I still have a long ways to go,
let's
man.
just say borrowing money at 0% isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds pretty legit. That's a very nice, even low number.
But I would also warn you in my economic stat. Who am I? Who's over at WOKV? Clark
Howard.
Clark Howard. You can listen to him on WOKV. He'd probably
Sure.
be a little smarter.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think you come to me for economic advice.
Sure.
But I'd be careful how much you get that 0%.
Okay.
Because you're still going to pay the bills.
Times are tough. I hear you, man.
We were joking yesterday kind of about TikTok a little bit. My girlfriend and I were watching some last night, and there's this guy who's giving advice on stocks that you should buy on TikTok. And I'm watching it, and she's like, oh, are you going to buy in on this? I was like, I'm not going to take financial advice from a TikTok.
How old was this guy?
He's probably my age.
Okay.
And I'm
It ain't
interested.
for you and me, Brent. It ain't for you and me, man.
I'm interested to
I
see.
just don't get the TikTok thing. I think
it's
I
not
told
for
you
you
this.
and me.
I think I told you. I was like, I told you the airport story.
Yeah,
There's
you
this,
did.
This girl, and she wasn't like 14. She
Yeah.
was like 24 or something. And she got off the plane and she stopped and she put the phone there and started doing a dance. And I'm assuming it was for TikTok.
It's just not for us, Brent. It's just
The
one of those
kids,
things that
when you're
passes by.
Don't get it.
When you're at the grocery store and it looks like your kid's just like twitching,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
him doing a
it's the-
TikTok.
It's the same dance.
My kid
That's
is.
all I see is people doing this.
My kid is 15 years old, about to be 15 years
Yeah.
old, and she walks around the house like that nonstop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oof, man. Tell you what, in this climate right now, having kids, I mean, I'm still super psyched to be a father. But with TikTok and everything, man, I'm like, oh, I could have picked the worst time, I feel like.
It's a
You
good
know what I'm
time to
saying?
take away the phone.
It's a good time. Well, I mean,
Might have happened in our house.
Well, thank God my son's 5 years old and doesn't have a phone yet.
Take away that like toy phone.
I mean, it's probably going to be till like he's a senior in high school before he gets a phone.
Yeah,
And so
right.
I'll be handling his.
I doubt it.
I'll be handling all
you're
his
gonna forget him
recruiting.
once at football
I
practice.
know, right? Oh man.
It is interesting, right? Do you think it's better to have kids during this pandemic or not have kids? And the reason I say that is, okay, most people are like, yeah, I don't have to deal with the kids, blah, blah, blah. But the kids actually make you think, be creative, keep them busy. I mean, otherwise you're home by now, if you don't have kids, you don't know any different.
Yeah.
But if you do have kids, you're like, okay, the alternative is I could just be home watching, doing nothing. I mean, that sounds fun for about 3 days. I don't know. To me, it doesn't sound fun even for 3 days.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's better to have kids or not.
No,
right now during this stretch.
I think that it all depends what kind of parent you are. You know what? And I hate to call people out right now. I guess that's what I'm going to do. Where if it's like it's quarantine day 8, 9? What are we on?
Sure.
12, 13, whatever it is. Like
That's the other thing. Time is going slow.
If you're
it was
already-
just
I
2
know,
weeks
right?
ago. The Players' Championship
Exactly.
in the NBA got suspended 2 weeks ago. It
It's
feels like
still
6
March.
years ago.
if you're to the point right now where you're complaining about, man, like I'm bored with my kids, is parenting really for you then? You know what I'm saying? Because like, this is a perfect opportunity to do activities, man. Like, dude, me and my son, we've been killing it. You know, like obviously my wife, she's got a lot of studying to do, so it's me and my son. So we're playing songs on guitar. He's singing them, man. We're going on nature walks. We're going on monster hunts. We're watching cartoons. we're crushing it, man.
Yeah, but dude, 5-year-olds are still kind of cute and stuff. I mean,
Okay.
14, 15-year-olds,
I don't know.
kind of beyond that cute
Wait
stage.
till they
go
start
outside, have
hating
a
you.
catch. I don't know what you do with a 14-year-old yet. I'll tell you when I get there.
It is it's very different, especially for people, normal folks. I mean, we were homeschooling, so it hasn't changed that much.
Yeah.
So we were already kind of had that routine down.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine for everybody else, it's got to be a little rough. Right. It's a lot of time to fill.
I'll be honest. I don't feel sorry for people, man. Okay, I really don't. I don't care if you have 5 or 6 kids. Like, this is what you signed up for.
Well, 5 or 6 kids might really help. That will keep you busy.
I guess. I mean, depending on the ages and everything like that. But like, if you have 1 or 2 kids and you're going crazy, this is what you signed up for. Okay,
Sure.
like
That's
don't,
on you.
Yeah, exactly. Don't buy a tiger and then get mad when it bites somebody. You know, like that's the way of the world. So don't get mad at yourself because your kids are driving you nuts. That's what you signed up for. Usually, sometimes you didn't sign up for it, and that's just God's graces. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Yeah.
Telemarketer got us onto good parenting or bad parenting and how to spend your money and not.
We do it all here,
We
Brent.
do it all. Let's talk about Tyler Eifert. How about the Jags spending their money? People get so mad about how much money is being spent in free agency.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it your money that's being spent?
First of all, it's not your money. Secondly, the Jags now have plenty of space. Thirdly, I don't care if we go sign, like I said, like Ozzie Newsome. If he wants to play tight end and come out of retirement right now, I'd give him $5 million here on the Jags.
If Ozzie Newsome gets signed before me, I'm going to be a little upset about it. Okay, a little upset.
I just don't get the angst on that, and I think it's a incentive-laden deal. 2 years, I think the report is $15.5 million,
Well,
and they can get out of it after 1 year. It looks like so. I think it's a great signing for the Jags. I'm not saying I have high hopes for it, but given the situation, I love it.
And you said it. Keyword being incentives, right? Where in order for Tyler Eifert to actually, make a lot of his paycheck, he has to play, okay? And obviously the biggest question mark right now going into the season is the fact, can Tyler Eifert stay healthy? Well, with an incentive-based contract, he has to do everything in his power to do that, so he gets paid. So I think it was a great move. To me, it's a no-brainer, obviously, but still a great move from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as far as people being upset and frustrated, like, this is free agency, okay? There's a reason why people are free agents. It's because teams didn't want to take a chance on them for whatever reason. So the Jaguars took a chance, incentive-laden contract. I'm not mad at it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. And teams move on for different reasons, whether they're going to the young way or whether they've got some investments coming up in the draft and they feel like they're going a certain way. You never know their full reasons. It brings us the Jags have to take chances on tight ends. They have to just find a way to fix the position. And there's not enough out there. I said to somebody else, I said, if I was a football player, I'd be trying to learn how to be a tight end right now. The value for a tight end in the NFL is extreme. If you can play the position at all, you have a very good chance of making a roster. And if you can play it at an excellent level, you have a chance of making big, big bucks in this league.
Yeah.
The Kelce's, the Ertz, all those guys. So I think I really like the move. And I will say this, in free agency, we get a little wrapped up in this part of it. The Jags signed a guy named Schobert, a guy named Gunter, a guy named Denard, a guy named Melvin, a guy named Marsh.
They sound like a cartoon character. It sounds like a cartoon that we're creating.
Yeah, a guy
Gunter and
named
Marsh.
Woods,
Yeah.
not Tiger.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, and I'm guilty of it, and I think we all are guilty of this, and we said don't do it, but you fall in love with the name and not the game. I like that I know who Tyler Eifert is.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I like that I know who he is.
Yeah.
I like that the Jags got him, and I also like one other big part of this. They finally did something on the offensive side of the ball. We've been saying it for the last week, ever since they moved Nick Foles a week ago. You have to put things around Gardner Minshew. I get they have positions solidified. They like their offensive line more than anybody else. They have some young receivers that, hey, you can say, hey, they could be okay. But you can't stand pat with an offense that just wasn't good enough a year ago and put Gardner Minshew out there and say, hey, well, it's just going to be year 2 and we've got a different offensive coordinator. I've seen that song before, man. You gotta sell me on something else. So I need to see the additions, and I understand we'll see the additions in the draft. I think we'll get that. But again, my hesitation always is on rookies, is how much they'll help me in year number 1, not just tight ends, but all rookies. So I like the move because I feel better about the room. I don't know if he's going to make it through 16 games. I don't know where his production level will be. 29 years old is not old for a tight end at all. And I just now I think that I know Tyler Eifert. You brought up his blocking ability.
He's a great run blocker. Yeah.
So I know at least I've got a feeling if you can get this guy through camp, I could plan on him on opening day, I hope. Mm-hmm. And then you also have Josh Oliver, who's now not my most proven guy or best guy or my hit and hope guy out there. Now, he might eventually be your guy. Like, you probably hope that Josh Oliver is the best producer for you. You invested a third-round pick.
But he's still a receiver first over a blocking tight end.
Absolutely. They play
we would think.
two different ways.
Yeah.
So, and now I feel better that James O'Shaughnessy is my third guy. Mm-hmm. You know, so the trickle down, the domino effect, much like the Schobert move, makes me feel a little bit better. Now, I know I'm sounding a little over the top on how much the Eifert signing is. I get what it is. I do. But that's a desperate position for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Make no mistake about it. There is not a lot out there. And again, Hunter Henry, tagged. Austin Hooper, overpaid, most people think. Ebron, I just don't think they were that interested for a variety of reasons. Mm-hmm. Whether that's right or wrong, we can debate. But even that would have been, you're rolling the dice. This is as much a roll of the dice, I think, as even an Ebron, if you've seen his up and down roller coaster career so far. So I like it. I really do. I'm not. I can't find much of a critique for it. I don't care about the dollar so much. I just like that it's added something to my quarterback and also to my roster and also to my offense.
Did you see that Trey Burton supposedly going to be on the trade block? If not, they might cut him in Chicago now.
Really? Flat out cut?
Yeah. What's
now,
up with that?
I will say this. I haven't looked up Trey Burton's numbers. He's an interesting guy coming out of Florida. And he has this moment with Nick Foles. And I think he had more than just that moment with Philadelphia that year. I think he was reliable. But if I say to you this, what else has Trey Burton done outside of that Super Bowl season and that Philly special that should get me excited? Would you be able to answer it in a positive way? This is without me looking up his numbers.
The season after he left Philly, went to Chicago. His first year in Chicago, he had 54 receptions, 569 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Huh.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad. I mean, I think you would kill for that
So
in
why is he on the
Jacksonville.
trading block?
Well, because think about it. You got Jimmy Graham. You got your boy from
Shaheen. So they haven't given up on Shaheen.
They haven't given up on him yet. So, I mean, you're really going to have 3 because, they don't run 3 deep sets.
But you're relying on Jimmy Graham more than Trey Burton.
I mean, this is the Bears we're talking about here.
I thought Graham would be the kick the tire guy.
I know. I mean, but they did sign Jimmy Graham. They signed him to a new deal. So I have no idea. Listen, obviously they know a lot more than we do about Trey Burton. I'm just saying, from an intrigue standpoint, something to just keep an eye on.
We have a question about Ndamukong Suh. When we come back, we'll talk about it because I've got a theory on why the Jags might not be interested. Reasonable deal, right? 1 year, $8 million.
He already signed. You see that?
I know,
okay,
Tampa.
gotcha. Yeah.
1 year, $8 million to go to Tampa. I got a
3
thought.
technique,
We
man.
just brought this up yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You would say, wow, man, why not? 1 year, $8 million. I mean, that's no different than like the Eifert deal. Mm-hmm. I got a theory on why they wouldn't kick the tires on Suh. Even though I think it could have made a lot of sense. But why they're not. And you tell me if I'm crazy or not, but I've got just a hunch about it. That's coming up next. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. By the way, we'll have PJ Carlesimo at 4 o'clock. We have John Sciambi. Boog Sciambi. Like a little baseball talk? That should be fun. Catching up around 3:35. It's on the way. But next, more football. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A widely scattered shower or thunderstorm, otherwise a very warm day again today under partly sunny skies into the upper 80s, dropping into the low 60s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
CGC Water Treatment is celebrating Connecticut's 50th year anniversary with 50% savings for you. Purchase a Premier softener and save 50% off a K5, Connecticut's premier reverse osmosis system. When the shelves at the store are empty, it's a great feeling to have purified water right at home. Call 904-694-2242. Financing available with approved credit. Don't worry about needing bottled water. Call 904-694-2242 or visit cgcwater.com. Tell them Brent sent you. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Duval Honda, Solomon Ventures, Inside Out Window Washing, Emergency Systems Inc., River City Kitchen and Bath, Z-Trip. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
Do you have a great idea for a business, but unsure if there is a market? Most businesses require investing in machinery and equipment, but where do you find funding? If you're struggling with questions like this, attend a local SCORE workshop. This year, SCORE will hold 140 workshops around Jacksonville. Find one that meets your need by clicking on the Take a Workshop tab at jacksonville.score.org and register today.
Be bold, Jacksonville, with Bold City Heating and Air. When it's hot, we turn on the AC. When it's colder, we flip on the heat. But are you getting the best value with your system? Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau. Insulation is an important part of comfort and efficiency in your home. At Bold City Heating and Air, they offer free consultations and quotes on your insulation. Call 904-379-1648 or check out boldcityac.com. 5-star reviews on Facebook and Google. Be bold, Jacksonville, with Bold City Heating and Air. It's the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and it can be your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210, family owned and operated, and a fun course to play. The Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facility and player-friendly golf course design, it will be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. Become a member in 2020. For more information, call the Golf Club at Southampton at 904-287-PLAY.
Golick and Wingo.
Jason fits in for Trey with Mike Golick Jr., a new Mel Kiper Jr. mock draft.
When you're hearing Detroit talk about trading Darius Slay, all of a sudden, all the rumor mill's starting to churn now, boy.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Hey, I'm Jay DeMarcus from Rascal Flats, and this is Action Sports Jax.
All right, so we got a question. Why wouldn't the Jags take a look at Ndamukong Suh, your former teammate, on that defensive front where they need so much help? And
yep, definitely need 3 technique.
He signs with Tampa for a 1-year, $8 million deal. So not much. I mean, certainly affordable. I've got a thought that I really think the Jaguars are trying to get away from, and this might be a little unfair to Sue because it's not like I've covered him and know all the stories, but I think the perception is whether he's a dirty player, he could be a selfish player, he could be that kind of guy, even though I think he's very smart from the stories you've told us and obviously a very good football player. I think they're trying to get away from those kind of players.
Like a bad image?
Bad. I don't care. I don't know if they care about the perception of them. I think they care more about how the fit is internally. And so whether it's the me player, anybody that might have, listen, everybody's got a shade of me in the NFL. I mean, it's individual as much as it is team. Might be the ultimate team game, but certainly is individual based in terms of protecting your career and what's next for your career. And I don't know if Sue is that, but he comes with that kind of, he comes with a little bit of history that makes you wonder if he is that, you know? And so is that a reason why maybe they didn't even go after a guy like Ebron, you know? Is that...
Let me ask you this, though. When's the last time you heard something bad about Ndamukong Suh?
Yeah, I guess most of it in that sense is
Tampa
more dirty,
Bay, I don't really remember that much. I mean, I don't think I heard anything from him from Tampa Bay.
No, it was a while ago that he got labeled the dirty player. And so, yeah, maybe it does. I just feel like... I guess there's not... If I say Ndamukong Suh to an NFL fan... Most people are like, oh, like the player, but kind of doesn't he have like this bad guy persona?
No, I mean, without a doubt. There was one time, you know, when I think it was like 2012 when Sports Illustrated came in to interview every single player, and then we had to give like we think the dirtiest players, and the winner by a landslide was Ndamukong Suh.
So I guess my point, even to that, and I might be real spinny here, is that if that's the perception of Ndamukong Suh, well, being a dirty player can also be kind of a selfish player because you're not doing anything to help the team. I mean, you could be hurting the team. You could be, whatever it is. I just think the bigger picture part of this is anybody that and I don't think you rule out everybody. I think you have to make some kind of – it's okay to have some of these kind of guys on the team, even if it is a little me, or it comes with a label, or it's not always perceived as angelic, as Dave Caldwell once said. I've said this last week. I said the biggest criticism of Dave Caldwell, believe it or not, on top of some of the moves and missed picks and in the record, that should probably be the biggest criticism, actually, is the record. But maybe the second biggest one is how the makeup of the team has been. And the miscalculation of even the talent that was assembled on 16 and 17, but to turn into what it turned into in 18 and 19, in I think what would be perceived as a me kind of way. I think everybody went after their own stuff in 18 because they made it big in 17. They said, here comes my star power. It's my turn. It's a branding day and age. Jalen Ramsey, Telvin Smith, maybe even a Miles Jack fell into that a little bit. I think you had too many guys like that. The makeup of the team, the composition of the team wasn't sustainable. It wasn't team first. It didn't feel that way on so many levels. I'm not saying every guy, but it didn't feel that way. I think the move with Joe Schobert, from what we know of him, from what we've heard from other folks in Cleveland, I think fits and is kind of an example of what they're trying to do in terms of change that a little bit, change the inside of their locker room to be, it's all about team. It's all about team. It's all about team. Your stuff will come, but it's all about team. And we don't want too many of these me guys on there. Does that make some sense?
It makes some sense, but at the same time, I have a hard time defending that you won't give Ndamukong Suh a chance if he's been, on good behavior the past couple years, but you give a guy like Al Woods a chance who tested positive for PEDs last year, and now you sign him to a new deal. So, I think it goes both ways. Not saying the whole Al Woods thing was a bad signing. I think everyone makes mistakes, and I'm sure he's owned up to it, and he's a better person for it. But I'm just saying you can't tell me that the Jaguars are worried about their brand and having the right guys in the locker room if you bring in guys that have tested positive for PEDs.
Yeah, that's an okay call there. I think it's a less risky one. You're not spending $8 million for a year on Al Woods.
Yeah.
I don't know what the actual finances that deal ended up being, but I don't think it was that much. But I guess, and maybe that's not why they didn't take a run at Suh, But obviously you could have gotten a little bit of a bidding war with Suh to get, Tampa Bay, I think right now, they have a bunch of leverage because of Brady. So you could get Suh for a 1 year, $8 million. Jags might have had to spend $10 million a year on him.
And keep in mind, Tampa Bay's a huge fan of Suh because they actually let Gerald McCoy go for
Absolutely.
Suh.
Yeah, and they're familiar with him and they know what they have in him. So and we just talked about him yesterday, I think it was, where he had a down year. But I think that's my it either, whether it's with Suh specifically or not, I think it's something that continues to stick out to me is that I think they want to reshape that locker room. That 18 years still screams out to everybody. The locker room was bad. It was just a bad mix. And that's even with a guy like Calais Campbell in there. I'm not saying everybody was bad, by the way. I'm just saying you had too many of them. Too many maybe selfish players, maybe maybe I always call it immature players. Didn't see the big picture. Were more concerned about getting theirs at the time. Look, I always say Jalen Ramsey is always going to be that guy. It doesn't matter. So that's okay. When he plays like that, but you can't can you have 5 or 6 of those guys, especially if they're not playing at the level Jalen Ramsey is going to play at or you expect them to play at?
Listen, I'm not trying to run a campaign here saying that the Jaguars should have signed Ndamukong Suh, but I'm just going to say this, and I've said this before. I think in terms of Ndamukong Suh, he was just born in the wrong decade, okay? If this guy would have came up in the 70s or the 80s, we would have celebrated him. We would have had him on every single NFL Films Crunch Course or whatever, those films you watched on the VHS growing up as a kid, and you would have celebrated that, right? It just so happens that nowadays, for some of the things that he's done, you definitely can't get away with it. And I'm not saying it's right because it's not right. I think sometimes you just let the emotions get the best of him, and he sees red, okay? And I'm not trying to take his side and everything, but I'm just saying from a physical player, from a player that brings the intensity on the football field and that brings that toughness. You want to talk about the Jaguars, what do they lack right now? We always talk about, well, they have speed on defense. They have speed, but do they have the physical attributes? Are they tough in the trenches? You add a guy like Ndamukong Suh, and assuming he doesn't, go off the wall and have this dirty play, well, that guy brings toughness to your team. Now, once again, not saying the Jaguars should have signed him. I'm just saying where you have to balance a little bit. I get the guy's a dirty player, but guess what? He's also a physical one too that can add to your team.
Yeah, and listen, I agree with you too. I'm not saying you have to have. Let's not go back to the Gene Smith. You have to have a captaincy. You have to be a choir boy. All those things. I'm not saying that. But
you have to be married.
Yeah, but I do think you have to watch out how many you have of that. It got away from the Jags. When they write the book on it in 10 years and people are willing to talk. Heck, D.D. Westbrook brought it up last year, going into last year.
Yeah.
He actually said it.
Yeah.
Very few people would be willing to say it, but they had too many of those guys thinking about themselves.
I'm not sure if I ever told the story, but one of the biggest times I got yelled at in the locker room was because there's rumors that Gene Smith was looking for guys that had wives and everything. Obviously, at the time when I was playing for the Jaguars, I didn't. And I put on Twitter if anybody had any good sites to like a Russian mail order bride. And that got out to management, and they were not impressed with me, let's just say.
Well, you just thought it was job security.
Well, we didn't have Tinder back then, okay? Times were tough. All I had was Facebook, and I had a Russian mail order bride service. I was trying to be here for the long haul. I'm trying to get a second contract.
From that to John Sciambi coming up next. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
First Take, Your Take with Jason Fitz.
Who should be the highest paid athlete in all this? We're not even having a Super Bowl conversation about, the defensive side of the football. What we do know is that the conversation about the quarterback always rules every conversation about the NFL. As we're going to have this conversation about who wins the Super Bowl, then what's next? What's next for Patrick Mahomes is a payday.
First Take, Your Take with Jason Fitz from 1 to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
The comforts of your home. Sounds good, doesn't it? And our friends at Arlington Toyota agree. That's why they're making it easier than ever to buy from the comforts of your home with ArlingtonToyota.com. When you go to ArlingtonToyota.com, you can choose from page after page of new Toyotas and pre-owned inventory. In fact, you can complete your transaction all online, and Arlington Toyota will deliver your vehicle to your home. Easy, right? And if you need an easy way to get your car serviced, Arlington's got that covered also. Just drop off your car for service and get a free ride home. Need parts? Arlington Toyota will deliver parts to your home. It doesn't get any easier than that. Online shopping with Arlington is one way to buy, but they also want you to know they're following all CDC and health department guidelines and taking every precaution to clean commonly touched surfaces. Arlington has a full-time cleaning staff, 7 days a week, because keeping their Arlington team and their loyal customers safe is their top priority. Shop from home, get your new ride delivered to your door, all with ArlingtonToyota.com. From everyone at Arlington, stay well and know their team is here for you.
Hey, boss, check out this headline. Safe Touch Security. Your health and safety are all we do.
Safe Touch again? Is that all you ever talk about?
Boss, your mom still has a Safe Touch security system, right?
That is correct. Don't make any comments.
No, I can't blame you. Having a Safe Touch system is like having a halo of protection surrounding her.
Exactly. For instance, let's say, God forbid, that she needed the fire department.
Not to worry, Safe Touch can respond.
Or let's say she stubbed her toe, the mother of all toe stubs, and she couldn't get to the phone.
Safe Touch can contact emergency toe fixes.
I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad Safe Touch is out there.
Boss!
I know, but that doesn't mean we don't stick to the Crooks of us motto. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
J. David Tax Law wants you to know that they are here to help individuals and businesses with tax debt issues during the coronavirus pandemic. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Tax problems can be extremely stressful, especially now. If you owe a tax debt, there are new programs available that can help reduce or eliminate your IRS or sales tax burden. These programs expire on July 15th, so don't wait. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. With a $1 trillion economic stimulus package on the way. The IRS will be collecting an unprecedented amount of tax debt to fund this historic initiative. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777 or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
An ex-athlete is waiting to be welcomed into a loving home. There's a greater need to place ex-racing greyhounds into permanent homes than at any point in recent history as a result of greyhound racetrack closings across the country. April is National Adopt a Greyhound Month and the perfect time to adopt a gentle companion into your home. Thousands of greyhounds are being cared for by adoption groups now. Please help ensure that all these wonderful dogs find homes by visiting thegreyhoundproject.org for information on adoption in your area.
It's when you realize the car you drive looks like every other vanilla vehicle on the road, and you want more. You can get more right now at Atlantic Infiniti. When you buy an Infiniti, you simply get more car, more standard luxury for your money. And right now, you'll get more for your trade than ever before. You deserve and can afford luxury. Get more now at the one and only Atlantic Infiniti. 642-0200.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Jiffy Lube, Metro Diner, North Florida Movers, Hancock Whitney Bank, Crosswinds Veterinarian Hospital, Shredder's Family Farm. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz. HQ Trivia officially died over the weekend. Heck of a run, though, right?
Not really. It ascended to the mountaintop and then fell very quickly.
Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jag.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, one good thought on the Ndamukong Suh. Jack Stan says, yeah, what if you're having a 3-4-5 win season? How's a player like Suh going to react? I do think they ask those questions, you know, in terms of the makeup of your locker room. How are they going to handle stuff if it's not going to be like this go for broke season? Of course, Suh's in a better spot, by the way. If you could be Ndamukong Suh, you go to Tampa or you go to Jacksonville.
Yeah,
you go
but
to Tampa
keep in
right
mind,
now.
he was in Miami, and Miami didn't do that well when he was there.
Yeah, it's a good call. I mean, so they did okay with him. I mean, they
But
really
I
tore
don't know
that
if he had
down.
any cheap stuff in Miami. All I remember, I remember the times that he was in Detroit is what sticks out to me. For the quote unquote dirty stuff that he did.
Yeah,
but maybe he had some
yeah.
incidents in Miami too. I don't know.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, and we are glad to be joined by John Sciambi, ESPN play-by-play man for Major League Baseball, and has done so many things over the years. It's really Boog Sciambi. Which one do you prefer, John? Boog?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Boog is fine.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And, tell us the story, if anybody doesn't know, how far it goes back to the Boog Powell days. And you've widely accepted the nickname of Boog, haven't you?
Yeah, I got it 1993 when I went to go work in South Florida at WQAM, and a guy gave me that nickname, and it just kind of stuck. So, and I would say just working in baseball, it's worked for me.
It absolutely has. I was trying to pull up a picture and just verify and say, okay, yeah, I can see that. No doubt. I can see why that stuck. What's interesting about Boog Powell, and I did not realize, he actually went to Key West High School. And if you've ever been down to the Keys and you go out there and you're like, yeah, they actually have a high school in Key West. And I've been by that thing so many times. I'm like, man, I wonder what it's like to go to high school at Key West. Well, he went there, Boog Powell.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I've gotten to spend some time around him. He's a good dude. He's the first time that I met him, I started to sort of stumble and explain that I stole his nickname. But because he spends time in Key West, he was like, "Oh, I know who you are." He was great about it. He was gracious in terms of me thieving his nickname.
That's very good. John Sciambi with us, voice of Major League Baseball on ESPN, and has done so many other things, including a longtime host of radio shows. Wow. Can you produce it up for us this time of year? How would you be? What would be your go-to right now if you were hosting a radio show with no sports going on?
No idea. Yeah, no idea. Get some guests. I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, to be honest with you, we live in Jacksonville, and so the NFL is king. And with the NFL doing so much of their free agency, it has not hit us yet in that regard, but it's going to. I mean, this is going to be a pretty long layoff. And I was thinking when we were going to have you on, just baseball in itself, there's probably not another sport, I don't think so at least, grew up a huge fan of baseball, that is dictated by the calendar more than baseball. We know, especially if you're up north, pitchers and catchers report, well, that's mid-February. Spring is on the horizon. Opening day, well, spring is here, man. You finally get outside and stop shoveling some snow, hopefully. Midsummer Classic and the All-Star Game, you got the barbecues and you're grilling out, and it's hot and steamy up in New England. And then, of course, fall and winter coming right around the playoffs and the World Series. The schedule of baseball helps dictate our lives sometimes, especially if you're a big fan of it in certain parts of the country. That's what makes this kind of so bizarre right now. You got to be a little lost like so many baseball fans.
Yeah, it's weird. There's no question. It's definitely weird. It's hard. We were going to open tomorrow, and now that's not happening.
John, when we're talking about, time heals all wounds, right? And I think nothing applies more to that right now than the Houston Astros. I was ready to watch, a Houston Astros pay-per-view of the first team that they played because I wanted to see how many batters were going to get beamed. Well, now, obviously, with the outbreak and everything, the pandemic going on, baseball is kind of on the back burner, and we're waiting to see when it comes back. How much does this benefit the Houston Astros in terms of, are people going to forget what they did last year, and now all of a sudden maybe some teams might take it easy on them a little bit?
Well, I don't think that. I think the way you're going to experience it more with the Astros and would have regardless is the way the fans are going to react. It's going to feel like a playoff game. It's going to have an intensity that normally isn't there in the regular season. I don't think you're going to see. I think you'll see some spots here and there where somebody does something, but for the most part, I don't think it's going to be a league-wide thing. I do think that relative to the focus on it and the negativity surrounding it, this does neuter it a little bit. So I think that, I think that it definitely will end up being a situation where the Astros probably aren't going to feel it quite to the degree that they might have had the season started on time and no delay. I just think we're going to be so starved for baseball, period.
Absolutely. John Sciambi with us here on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690, voice of Major League Baseball on ESPN. And it was a couple of weeks ago in spring trading, now maybe going back about a month ago. And I don't know how much fun this was for you. It was about as fun as I've had listening to a spring training game that I can remember. And I thought, so much credit goes to Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant, but a lot of credit should go to you and Jessica Mendoza and the broadcast crew, because that is just as much a part of it in the interaction when you had those players mic'd up. We're going to play a little bit of a clip from it, and then I want to ask you about how good that was for baseball, and is it a sign of the future? Take a listen.
Oh, yeah. Him! Get there. Get down. Dang it. Foul.
What was that?
Fastball early on, and now I'm tired. Oh, my goodness. These are the worst. I have to run these out.
So that was Chris Bryant, Chicago Cubs slugger, of course, and he was mic'd up for that spring training game. You guys did a fantastic job with that. How much fun was it? And, John, do we see that someday down the road in some capacity? It was about as well received as I've seen something from baseball, especially in spring training, in a long, long time.
It was well received. There's no question. Those two guys were great. I give them all the credit. They were fully invested. I told Chris Bryant, we were going to have Anthony Rizzo mic'd up, and he ended up saying, that he would do it as well, and we'd have them together. And then KB said to me in the clubhouse before the game, "Hey, can I just leave this on?" And I looked at him kind of like, yeah. So he was all in, and they just had fun with it. And we got a chance to see a side of these guys you don't always get to see. Look, do I think during an important part of the season we're going to have the ability to talk in Anthony Rizzo's ear? No, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I do think that any exhibition style, they should be open to it. And I think that even in important games, guys that aren't playing, there should be some two-way stuff. And you got more. It got so much attention. And, for people who aren't big baseball fans, it sucked them in a little bit. So I think it's something that, the Players Association is going to have to get with, and hopefully we'll see more of it down the line.
John, I think that's been one of the things about baseball, too. Other sports do such a great job of branding their players. I mean, baseball has so many young stars, yet I don't know they transcend the sport of baseball. It's been one of the problems for big league baseball. Mike Trout should be this megastar all over the world, and maybe he is to some degree, but he's not like LeBron James and maybe some of our NFL guys as well. You know that. This was an awesome indoor look at some of these guys, their lives, and I think the other part of it is people love storytelling in baseball more than any sport. We love listening to whether it's current players or old-time players tell stories, don't we?
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's a big thing. So this helps in many ways. I completely agree. It does.
Well,
and you got to see more of it.
Speaking of stories, Chipper Jones did go to the bowl school here in Jacksonville, and it was about a year ago, I think, that you told the story of the epic glare that he gave you. Would you mind revisiting that a little bit in case folks from Jacksonville haven't heard it yet, but it's a great story.
Yeah, it was. So it was 2008. I was doing the Braves games. I talked to him before the game. I asked him, "Why are you swinging at the first pitch so much?" And he said, "Because time I'm going to get a fastball." And I said, "Yeah, but they don't throw you a lot of first pitch strikes." And he said, "Right, but I'm looking for a fastball, and it's probably the only pitch in the count I'm going to get one." So anyway, fast forward, the conversation has to break up. He has field. I go up to do the game. First at bat for him, 2 outs, nobody on. Tim Stauffer on the mound, who is not a hard thrower. And Stauffer pumps one right down the middle at 91 miles an hour, and he steps out and just stares at me in the booth. And, I mean, we just lost it. And he just stared at me as if to say, "See, that's why I do what I do." And we told the story and, showed the video of it, which was incredible. And he was great about it. And it was fun just because we brought it up. He brought it up, and I was going to, but we had no discussion about it. And then when he joined us in the booth, he happened to bring it up. And, credit to our production group, they just executed it flawlessly, and we got to tell that story. And then we had him on for a full 9 innings later in the year, and now I'm going to be working with him, so it'll be fun.
That's very cool. Great story. And, of course, Chipper Jones, who went to the bowl school here in Jacksonville. What I did not know about that until you just said it is I didn't know Stauffer was on the mound from Spa Catholic, Saratoga Springs, New York. A little known fact, Austin Lane, I might share that one. I covered him when I was up in the Albany, New York area. So that was pretty cool. I didn't know he was part of that story. All right, let's talk big picture, and then we'll let you run. When are you going to work, man? I mean, what do you think? How long can this play out until Major League Baseball really has to make huge adaptations to the season? And I think they are the one sport that might be in danger of, if anybody, possibly losing its season. And am I out of my mind?
I don't think that's off the table. I wouldn't put it at likely, but I don't think that's that's out of the question. I think I'd put it at 30%.
Yeah.
But to me, the biggest thing is there's the business component, and the players are going to want to make as much as they can. But from an entertainment standpoint, And again, so like I'm not making these, but like I don't know when we'll be ready to go, because in the end, like trying to get that answer out of me, you might as well ask Dr. Fauci. You know what I mean? I don't know what's really going to happen. But what I will say is I don't care about trying to play 162 games. So that's one of my big angles here is if it's 140, fine. If it's 120, fine. Whatever. But I'm not interested in playing, 7-inning doubleheaders 4 times a week so we can get to 162. Like, I don't think 162 is a necessity. For me, it's not. I don't think for the sport it is. Now, revenue-wise, people may argue that it is, and I don't have a counter-argument. But from an equity standpoint, from an entertainment standpoint, I certainly don't need for them to figure out a way to play 162. Like, 100 or more will be just fine.
Yeah, I agree with you. John Sciambi, voice of Major League Baseball on ESPN. I'm going to leave you with one more question, and that's because I'm getting a lot of texts about, hey, I love listening to Boog on the Atlanta Braves broadcast, or back in the day with the Florida Marlins, now Miami Marlins. How fond of those days are you of the time with the Braves especially? We have a lot of Braves fans around here.
I loved it. I loved it so much. The Braves fans treated me so well, and they had longtime broadcasters, and Skip Carey and Pete Van Wieren and Joe Simpson was my partner, and obviously Don Sutton as well. And I got a chance to be around Chipper and John Smoltz and Tom Glavine, and it was special. And Bobby Cox as well, and John Sherholtz. I learned a ton. It was a really good fan base, and I enjoyed it so much. And they had great players, so that was a blast.
Well, now you could be in the booth soon enough with Chipper Jones. John Sciambi from ESPN. We appreciate the time, man. Be well. Hope your family's well, and look forward to hearing you back in the booth soon.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, John Sciambi, play-by-play voice for Major League Baseball on ESPN. Boog Sciambi, as he goes by to so many. Interesting to hear him say that about the Major League Baseball season. Last night, I think Jeff Passan, who is ESPN's writer for Major League Baseball and kind of insider guy, he laid out a bunch of different things, and there were so many things on the table. I'm telling you, the people in charge right now in leadership positions, whether it's at your company, whether it's in the city, whether it's in the country, medical, to politicians, to whoever. And again, this is without political bias here. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican. I understand there are going to be bad feelings towards some, and there are going to be angles and sides everybody takes. And I understand there's going to be criticism of leaders at all different levels. I get it. But the amount of information that they are taking in right now and the amount of angles that they have to think of. See, from our standpoint, we're thinking about, hey, man, when are we going to get the Braves and Dodgers back on ESPN with John Sciambi?
Sure.
Well, Major League Baseball is trying to figure it out from a whole different world. Economically, absolutely. How many games can they play? What if they started around All-Star weekend time, and that's when they started to play? Where are they going to play their postseason if it runs deep into November and maybe December because of all these cold weather cities? How do you pay minor leaguers? How do you pay staff? How does minor league baseball work here with Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp? I mean, there are so many different things to it. And if you read the Passan article and about what Major League Baseball is thinking and trying to do, it's really a fascinating deep dive at what all these organizations have to do. And keep in mind, the NBA right in the middle of it, NHL right in the middle of it. Major League Baseball was about to launch it. Again, I will continue to say the NFL gets this huge break in this. Like, as we rewrite this thing down the road.
Well, they do right now. I mean,
right
it depends
now they
how
are getting a big
long
break.
this
We'll
is
see
going.
where it goes.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely, fair enough.
That's the biggest thing with like the NHL, with baseball, with basketball right now. I mean, yeah, you have a lot of tentacles to it, but the hardest thing is that you don't know a timetable yet because we don't know what's going to happen still. You know, I mean, we're kind of living day by day right now. So, for anyone to come out and say, yeah, we're going to have a schedule right now and MLB is going to open on this day, it's just you can't say it. When you can't say it and you have uncertainty, it's one of the hardest things to know. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm sure it's a frustrating thing for Major League Baseball. It's a frustrating thing for families right now. It's the uncertainty, man. We don't know.
Absolutely. And there's my point in the NFL is there's a huge amount of time still, April, May, June, July, heck, even August, before they would really have to get on the gas pedal about some of these things and be like, whoa, what are we doing? That's a lot of time. These other organizations haven't had time. School districts had a spring break week and maybe not to figure it out. So, listen, sports isn't of the utmost part of this, but sports, as we have found out now in the last couple of weeks, whether people wanted to say it's a fun little entertainment thing or not, it is a huge economic driver for a lot of people at work, but also just in general. It is a huge economic driver. And is going to be a big part of the story that gets told about this time in history with the coronavirus pandemic. And the NFL having to not be able to get physicals as quickly as they want, visits to franchises, pro days, that is about as cry me a river about that. I mean, that is about as minor. Adam Silver, I'm telling you, he's like, yeah, well, how about you come deal with this stuff? We had 16 games to go in the regular season. Rob Manfred's like, you want to come deal with our issues? We have minor league baseball. We were just about to launch our season. We can't even get it going now. So it's amazing. I mean, it really is. I think once in a while we have to remind ourselves to kind of sit back and think about the scope of this. And I think we are feeling it. I still say, and maybe this is just a personal thing, and I'm sure each and every one of us are impacted differently, but I still feel like we're 2 weeks away from feeling it, and maybe even 3 or 4, to the depths that it will be. But from a sports standpoint, Major League Baseball is right in the middle of it. I mean, they are supposed to be having opening day tomorrow, and it's not happening. And I think what John Sciambi just said, I think he's right on the money. First of all, he said, hey, I put it at a 30% chance they don't have the season. Because how far do you get before you say, you know what, we're just not having a season? And part of the article that I read was fascinating, man. Mookie Betts essentially went to the Dodgers on a 1-year deal. He's going to be a free agent after this year.
Sure.
What if he never plays for the Dodgers?
Well, one would think that do they make a rule where Mookie Betts has to play 1 year with the Dodgers?
I don't know.
So we don't know. We don't know, man. Like it's just there's so much uncertainty right now, and I guess you just gotta kind of take it one step at a time, And once we get figured out with what's going on and what the timetable is going to be, they can get a better idea. But right now, we're in the dark like everybody else, man.
Yeah, and I do agree. I think I don't know if it's 30% chance. I do think Major League Baseball could be in trouble. There are a lot of loopholes to jump through. I like the idea of playing doubleheaders, catch up on some games. I think we could get to a point where they will take an economic bath because they won't have fans in the stands, or they have to play their most popular games, which could be their postseason games, at neutral sites in other places. Now, could that be fun? Could it be a little bit of a nostalgic kind of thing? Maybe. Maybe they come down here and play in spring training sites in front of 12,000 people. I don't know. Maybe they play in just the domes and they're all neutral site. I don't know.
And let's be honest, too, a question we have to ask ourselves as well is for attendance, right? Because baseball, I mean, it's a long season, a lot of games, they rely on their attendance and to make the profit and everything. Well, if people are going through economic hard times right now, when people are actually going to go out and watch a baseball game?
Well, that's fair with all the sports, even football, right? Ticket renewals for the Jags, I think, have been extended through April 24th. And I know you could add a joke in here about renewals with everything that's gone on, but the bottom line is just plain dollars. Forget about the bad vibes and the organization, all that stuff. Just dollars. How many people are going to allocate that money? Do they know what they can allocate by April 24th for something that's in the fall? I would say the answer to that right now, personally, is no. I don't know that answer. So I think you'll see a bunch of extensions when it comes to that kind of stuff. A little basketball talk right after this, Coos. Get excited.
Get your mind right.
Carlesimo is going to join us. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats. Judge Judy is set to end after the show's 25th season, but that doesn't mean Judge Judy is going away. The Mega Millionaire syndication queen will begin production on a new show called Judy Justice.
Oh, you know who made the decision? Viacom. They're clearing her off the books to make room for Romo.
It's a good guess.
Tap face.
You want more from the Dan Le Batard Show? Check out the podcast, wherever you get your podcast.
Every day, new information comes out about the coronavirus. At Action News Jax, we want you to know that we are on top of every new development. And every day, we're talking to experts, uncovering new information, and sharing what we're learning with you.
I'm Action News Jax anchor Tanika Hughes. ActionNewsJax.com is filled with valuable information on the impacts to Florida and Georgia. Stay calm, stay with us, and stay informed.
Action News Jax is local coverage you can count on.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Angel Kids Pediatrics, Tidbits Restaurant and Catering, Turnkey Roofing, B&G Plumbing, Heating and AC, Bullseye Guns, Breakthrough Healthcare. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this. Shop now and save on these items and many more during the March into Spring sale at your neighborhood Ace. Proven winners, gorgeous Blew My Mind perennial flowers, just $4.99 in the 1 gallon size. Get Fertilome 1648 premium lawn food from Ace for $19.99 in the 40-pound bag. Wet and Forget mold and mildew cleaner in various sizes and applications on sale now from $15.99. Find more great deals and the location nearest you at acehardware.com. Sale ends March 30th.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Everyone loves an upgrade. A corner table at your favorite restaurant. First class on a plane. Now is the time for you to upgrade. At Atlantic Infinity. Right now at Atlantic Infinity, you'll get more for your trade than ever before. And when you buy an Infinity, you'll replace that boring dashboard in your current vehicle and get more joy from your daily commute. You can afford a luxury Infinity. And right now, you can get more for your trade at the one and only Atlantic Infinity. 642-0200.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents, instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking. Online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not on the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home. Get a virtual consultation. Visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com. Or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663.
Hey boss, have you heard about Safe Touch? They're now offering a free health and wellness package with every Safe Touch system.
Health and wellness package? Actually, that sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, well, not for us crooks. You know the Safe Touch two-way communicator?
Yeah, of course I know the Safe Touch two-way communicator.
Yeah, so we already know that it's the best deterrent against, crooks like us, but it can also be like a 911 dispatcher for other emergencies.
Like medical emergencies.
Yeah, there's the two-way communicator, the emergency buttons, the smartphone app. It's all just extra peace of mind for Safe Touch customers.
Great. As if people need another reason to get Safe Touch.
Well, the good news is it's not going to change our Crooks Are Us motto. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Some things never change.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Why, did you know that One-to-One Financial is the only financial institution in Jacksonville with a fleet of live teller machines? That means you can practice social distancing and still do all of your banking, even apply for a loan, using a drive-through LTM at most One-to-One Financial locations. It's like an ATM with FaceTime, so you have the option to connect with a live teller via video feed when you need one. No other credit union or bank offers this in Jacksonville. See what else you're missing at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and the resume, like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for our spring break deals on lawn and garden batteries, wiper blades, brake kits, and more. Ready for an oil change? Get 5 quarts of Valvoline conventional or Max Life motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for $28.99. Plus, get a $7 gift card after mail-in rebate. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. It was a lot of fun playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars for 3 years, and I'm having just the same amount of fun on the radio every single day with ESPN 690. So I'm reaching out to you to be part of our team and grow your business with ESPN 690. Give us a holler at 245-8732. That's 245-8732. We look forward to hearing from you and hope you join the team.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Welcome back, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. I didn't know if Kuz had something playing back.
No, he said he couldn't get it in time.
Just looking at me.
Yeah, no, I was like, do I go now? What's going on?
And there was like no reaction.
Oh, yeah.
That was just like deadpan.
Yep. It's all good, man.
Hey, we're just trying to make it.
ESPN 690, we're just trying to make it.
ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, along with former Jags player, current MMA fighter, Austin Lane, here on ESPN 690, here on a Wednesday. Glad to have you along. And we are happy to be joined right now by former NBA coach, former Seton Hall coach, ESPN analyst around the NBA, PJ Carlesimo. All right, PJ, I'm just going to come right at you with this one. I grew up in New England, Providence Friar guy. When you were at Seton Hall, I'm just going to be honest with you and get it out of my system. I might have yelled at you through the TV while you were at Seton Hall or maybe even heckled you if I went to the old Civic Center and watched a Friars game. I apologize in advance.
No, I love it. It was one of my favorite places to play. I still refuse to call it the Dunkin' Donuts or whatever the heck it's called now, but it's a great college building. It's always been a good college building, kind of going back to Dave Gavitt, Joe Mulaney. You have so many guys, Rick, so many guys coached there. Both Ricks, Patino and Barnes. So we had a lot of people work in that building. So I used to enjoy my trips to Providence. We didn't always win, but we certainly got good dinners the night before, for sure.
Yeah, very good. Federal Hill hopefully was a spot. Good Italian there for you and in Providence. PJ Carlesimo with us. I'm going to ask you a lot about the NBA, but I wanted to get your thoughts on Seton Hall. What a bummer for them. How much do you still kind of in your heart of hearts have a spot for them and what they were doing this year? They were one of the best teams in the land.
Yeah, I actually thought they had a realistic chance. I think more teams this year had a chance to win the whole thing than almost any year in recent memory, anyhow. And the Hall was one of those teams. They were Kevin Willard is a good friend, the current coach. This was their fifth straight year in the NCAA. That's the first time that's ever been done in the school's history. And they had everything. They had a couple of real good bigs, shot blocking. They were good defensively. They had a first-team All-American, Miles Powell. You know, he's a great player, makes a huge difference, particularly a guard in the NCAA tournament. And I was really looking forward to watching them in the tour. I thought they had, maybe second tier, maybe Kansas, a couple other schools you'd put in that first group of 2 or 3. But beyond that, the Hall was right there with anybody else. I thought they were a top 10 team, and they could have won the championship this year. That's kind of the, Brent Austin would know it, of course, as having competed athletically. But I mean, everybody always asks us about our run in '89 when we got to the championship game. And I always say it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It really was. And at least for the seniors, and you know how it is, Austin. I mean, the team's never going to be together again. I don't care if your whole team is back next year. It's not the same as the group that went through it this year. And for them to not get the chance to do something in the NCAA tournament, that happened to so many young men and young women across the country, and it's happening now with the spring sports. I mean, it wiped out the end of the winter season and took away all the spring sports. So it's not as important as what we're all going through, but it's really sad that they will lose that, particularly the seniors.
Well, and I'll tell you what, PJ, and we talked about this last week a little bit. Like, it's one thing if you're a head coach, right, and you're in the tournament and maybe you lose a close nail biter on a last-second buzzer beater. I can see myself going into the locker room and saying, you know what, the ball just didn't bounce our way, guys. I'm still very proud of you, and this is going to only make you guys stronger as you pursue other things in life. That's an easy conversation to have, regardless of the sport. But I cannot picture myself being a head coach and having to tell your team on a phone or like in a team meeting saying, you know what, guys, we had a lot of hype going into the tournament. We had a lot of hype going into like a playoff or whatever sport you want to pick. But unfortunately, we can't play that because it got taken away from us. And it's nothing that you guys did. It's just it got taken away from us. I just can't imagine being a head coach and have that conversation.
I would. One of the worst things you'd ever want to deal with. I mean, telling you, put your uniforms away. We're done. Especially for the seniors. I know the NCAA is talking about, maybe doing something. What they're going to do, I don't know. But again, to me, it's not the same. It would be if maybe they give people eligibility for another year. But I mean, how do you do that equitably? How many scholarships are involved? So many kids are not on scholarship trying to compete. I mean, it's just a terrible situation. But again, that. For so many of them in all the sports, in all the different sports. I mean, because I played coach basketball, that's the one you talk about in the NCAA tournament. But it's the same in any sport. It's just there is no way to deal with it. And for so many of them, particularly the seniors, it really was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it was taken away from them.
PJ Carlesimo with us on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Of course, longtime coach at Seton Hall, then a longtime NBA guy, and still talking about the NBA and college basketball with us, but on ESPN as well. Let's shift over to the NBA, PJ, and wow, what do you do? What do you do if you're Adam Silver? You just obviously have to wait this out. Do you have a hunch at all? Will they play this thing all the way through July and August if need be, and just go as long as they have to?
Well, I think Adam has the luxury that the NCAA didn't have, and college students didn't have. He can wait. What's the thing that's stopping them, or will stop them eventually, might be the NFL. Other than that, the summer is kind of a slow time. Our networks, I say our, the NBA's networks are, you got ESPN and ABC on one side and Turner on the other side, and they have availability, so they can go late with that. Until you get to late summer, I think they're going to want programming, particularly NBA programming, if it happens. But I mean, so he can wait. Now, how long he can wait, I don't know. The challenge, obviously, of bringing everybody back together again, start practicing, trying to gear it up. I mean, it's we've dealt with lockouts and things like that where you started late and you maybe had a shorter season or a shorter preseason. But I mean, this one's off the charts. It's to be away from basketball as long as they will be. And particularly now when the facilities are locked up, and it's really a challenge. I mean, other than some of the veteran guys who literally have built courts and have all kinds of equipment in their own homes, it's hard. It's hard to find anywhere to, even work out. We got two sons, a junior in high school and an eighth grader, and they're going crazy like everybody. Playgrounds. I live in Seattle, Washington, so everything is shut down here. The playgrounds, even other than the backyard and getting some shots up, there's nothing to do. So it'll be a challenge. But I think I was wondering also if the Olympics ever had waited, you would have had the NBA overlapping with the Olympics, which would have really been a challenge, certainly for Pop and the United States national team. But that's now out of the mix. So I think Adam can afford to be patient. I do think ABC, ESPN, and Turner will want it if they can bring it about. But he's going to have to be, as he always is, he's going to have to be creative figuring out what kind of finish to the regular season and what kind of playoffs if we're lucky enough to get out from under this.
PJ, obviously there's been a lapse right now with professional sports, right? There's no NHL. Obviously, Major League Baseball has put on hold, the NBA just as well. But to me, I think, and we have to see how this whole thing plays out, first of all, but if the NBA season was to come back, and even if it's just, the playoffs and that's it, I mean, would any sport benefit with what's been happening more than the NBA, just from the standpoint of, I compare it to like a TV show, right? Like we saw, Giannis Antetokounmpo, leading the Milwaukee Bucks to the best record in NBA. Then we saw the Lakers all of a sudden come out of nowhere, and James, is going for the MVP now. And, with the Kobe Bryant thing, can the Lakers do it for Kobe? So, we have all these storylines, and it's almost like, our TV show got cut short, and we're waiting for the season finale. So is there going to be excitement? Is there going to almost be like a point of when the NBA does come back, ratings could be through the roof just because, number one, it's sports, but number two, of all the storylines?
I think so, Austin. I think they're, if I don't want to say it's a silver lining, but I think if they're able to come back, I think it'll be extremely well received. The season was going very well anyhow. You had all the subplots. You talked about a couple of them right there. I haven't seen. I'm sure is the NHL probably going to try and do the same thing also. I don't know, but I just don't think. I think the NBA, if we can get through this pandemic, I think they will benefit more than anybody else. Unfortunately, all the college students, that's out the window right now. And MLB will certainly, I guess you could say, benefit also. There's going to be, I just think the viewership, people are going to be so happy to watch something live if we do get through this. So I would think MLB, maybe NHL, but certainly the NBA when this is done, and they got to get done before your old sport gets geared up. Because right now that's pretty much that's carrying ESPN right now between all the reruns and everything and anything that happens. NFL is a story right now.
You absolutely said it. And speaking of old sports, so truth be told, I actually grew up playing basketball as well. And I played a lot of AAU basketball. And my senior year, there were two guys who were ahead of everybody. And one guy we actually went against, his name was Greg Oden. The other guy that I that we didn't get to play against, but I've seen him in person, was a guy by the name of Kevin Durant, a guy that you actually drafted. My question to you is, how hard was it to, I guess, maximize Kevin Durant's potential, right? Because I remember, he's still a skinny guy, right? But I remember looking at him and saying, if I was a coach, I would take him to the nearest burger joint, and I would add 50, 60 pounds and say, have fun playing in the post. But that wasn't Kevin Durant's game. And if we look at the NBA right now, obviously, you have these big guys that can shoot threes, but Kevin Durant at that time, I think back in 2007, he got drafted?
Yeah, exactly. 07, 08, we had him in Seattle his rookie year.
Exactly. So back in 2007, he was kind of the anomaly where he was this bigger than life kind of guy, but also a really good shooter. Like, how hard was it to try to maximize his potential, I guess I want to say?
It was easy, Austin. Even I could do it. He was such a good player. I remember Rick Barnes was a good buddy of mine. Brent, talking about Providence, when I was at Seton Hall, Rick was at PC. And I remember calling him up when we knew we were getting Greg or Kevin. We weren't sure, Portland had the number one pick, and we were going to get whichever one they didn't take. And when we found out that it was KD, I remember calling up Rick, and he just laughed. And I had seen him a couple times on TV. He was the player of the year in college basketball, but he was, frighteningly thin. He still is actually. He's much stronger than he was then, Austin. But he just has a frame that's not going to put weight on. He's worked very hard. Obviously, he's watched what he's eaten and everything, so he is bigger, but he's much, much stronger. But Rick just laughed at me. He said, "You're not going to believe it." He said he's almost 7 foot tall. They keep listing him at 6'9" or 6'10", but his arms are so long. He plays bigger than a 7-footer. And he had skills. He could dribble the ball. He could pass it. He could shoot it deep. There was nothing on a basketball court that he couldn't do. The only missing element then was strength. You could maybe overpower him inside, but even that he's got now. He's much stronger now than he was then. So, it took about 30 seconds of the first workout. You kind of shook your head and said, wow, that's how – I remember, I wish we had some of the media scrums after practice, and people were asking how good he was, and I said, well, I don't want to put that on a young guy. Plus, we weren't a good team either, but I said he's going to be, a 10-time All-Star. He might be good enough to be an MVP in the league. And to be honest with you, I undersold him. I remember people laughing, saying, like, what are you talking about? I said, come on, you didn't have to be smart to watch him play for 5 minutes and realize the potential that was there. And then on top of that, he's a gym rat. He had a great attitude. He still wants to improve. The great ones in our league in the summer, they go back and work harder than the other guys. The guys who should be working harder than them because they're not as skilled, kind of go through it. Some of them, work really hard. But you mentioned Kobe before. Kobe kind of set the bar for NBA players on how hard you work during the season and in the off season. And the other guys that did that were guys like Michael Jordan or LeBron now, KD now. He outworks the players in the league, and he's got more talent than they do to start with. So his potential was limitless, and he's taken that. And everybody's saying, well, can he come back now from the Achilles? Watch. He'll come back. If it's physically possible, he'll come back and be as good or a better player when he comes back from the injury.
Well, PJ, and it's funny because you talk about his work ethic, and I remember him seeing a video of him a couple years ago bench pressing 315 pounds. There's always been this rumor around the internet that's been circulating for the past couple decades now, it seems like, and what a better person to ask than the coach that drafted him. When Kevin Durant was at the Combine for the NBA, supposedly he could not bench press 185. Can you confirm or deny those rumors?
The first one I can confirm. I know what happened at the Combine. That was that was recorded and that was there. I didn't know the other one, but I would not be surprised because, again, he was in the weight room from day one with us, and it wasn't like, I don't want to lift, or he understood how important that was, and he had a long way to go. But 07, 08's a long time ago, and if you look at Kevin now, even though you'd still kind of describe him as, I would say thin, but he's, lanky. You look at him, but you see the definition. He's night and day. And again, he understood that was a missing element to his game, and he's taken it there. What he can actually bench now, I have no idea. But it wouldn't surprise me that he is that strong now. He certainly is on the basketball court.
Amazing.
PJ Carlesimo with us here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. You have time for one more? I know we've kept you. Are you okay? I wanted to ask you just about the scope of the NBA talent. To me, is unbelievable at the moment. I don't know if I guess everybody always wants to say, hey, can you compare it to this era or that era? But the bottom line is it's just amazing. LeBron James, 17 years in, playing the way he is. Giannis, who he is. Now Zion Williamson comes along. And I think the best way to describe how deep the talent pool is in the NBA is you can have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry not really a part of this season so far. And I don't want to say you don't feel it at all. It would be better if those guys were playing. But there's enough talent to go around that you hardly notice unless you're really going to ask that question. How good is it? Is it as deep as it's ever been?
It's deeper. It's significantly deeper, and I think the mistake that sometimes the average fan or even people who follow avidly don't understand. We see what happens in swimming or track and field. You've got young kids now. Literally teens running or swimming the same times that Olympic champions swam, or ran 20, 30 years ago. It's silly to think it's not happening in basketball. These guys are just bigger and stronger and quicker than athletes from other eras. Now, the great ones, there's no Wilt Chamberlains around. If Wilt was still here, Jerry West, John Havlicek, Oscar, those guys are still going to excel. But the average player in the league in those days would have no chance today. They are just unbelievably bigger, stronger, quicker athletes than we've ever had in basketball. And other than too many young ones, there's too many young ones in the league right now that aren't ready for the NBA, but they just keep coming out after a year of college or something. I think that's the one element we're missing. I do think that, staying 2, 3, 4 years in the past, which was the common way to come out of college, more of those guys were ready to play when they were young. But when you look at the teams that are winning, it's the veteran teams, and those guys, LeBron is just in a good way, he's a freak of nature. He happens to be a great basketball player, an unbelievable competitor. but he's just so big, so strong. I mean, unless you sit down courtside or unless you try and defend him, you have no idea what you're dealing with. And there haven't been many like him. And there are a lot of players in the NBA now that you can say that about.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. PJ
I think,
Carlesimo.
isn't it the same in football or no? Are NFL athletes better now than they were maybe even 10, 15 years ago?
Oh, without a doubt. You know, I mean, I think that goes without saying, especially because you see it more, and I think the same can be said about the NBA too as well, is you look at the big men, right? Like the big men are shooting threes now, and the NFL, I mean, you got offensive linemen running 4.8s. That's faster than I ran back at the combine. You know, it's hard to believe. So, I do think athleticism, it's definitely come a long ways, but I've always been adamant about this, PJ. I think that NBA athletes are still by far the best athletes in the world. I mean, when you talk about lateral agility, when you talk about the ability to jump, and just your endurance and your cardio, I think the NBA players have everybody else beat. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think because the way the game is played and the way they have to do more things, and it's not wrong. It's just that football is a little bit more of a specialty sport. Most guys play one side of the ball or the other and play a particular position. These guys, especially now with the league the way it is now, there's almost no standing down back to the basket post guys. So everybody's running up and down, having to defend away from the basket. And if anything, they're being asked to be more athletic than they were in the past.
PJ Carlesimo, fun talking college basketball in the NBA. And let's do it again when the NBA gets back up and running, okay?
Love to, Brett. Austin, great talking with you.
All right. Hope your family's well out in Seattle. Be well, and we'll catch up with you again down the road. PJ Carlesimo, talking some NBA, talking some college hoops, and remembering those Providence College days against Seton Hall. Really some good thoughts with P.J. Carlesimo, who's headquartered out in Seattle, Washington. What do you think it's like his kids in the backyard? It's like, you think he's yelling out the window? Hey, no, need a better drop step.
Oh, absolutely,
get some elevation on that jump shot.
Man. I mean, yeah, I think, they always say, once a coach, always a coach. So I'm sure he's coaching him up a little bit as well. And I'm glad I finally got to confirm the Kevin Durant thing where he couldn't bench 185 at the NBA Combine. And now look at him, dude, crushing it.
I think he said something there, though, and you wish you could. I think some people are just made up like this. Again, like you got to be a part of that 1% athlete, played professional sports. And I think a lot of that is, listen, some of it's God-given talent. Some of it's, I'm not 6'6", 245, so you can wipe me off being a defensive end. Some of it's that.
Yeah.
But I think most of it is driven and inner drive, and some of it's a little bit luck and happen, what situation you're in, all that stuff. But I think what he just said about Kevin Durant and LeBron James is, I've said this a few times, I don't think this is something that's not appreciated about some of our greats, some of the best players in any sport, is they continuously work harder than everybody else. Yes, they are already great, but they work harder than everybody else. Tom Brady's still playing football because he works just as hard, if not harder, than anybody else. And I don't know what harder than everybody else means, but you get my point. What he said about Kevin Durant, I believe that about LeBron James.
Yeah.
You give me the best guys. Mike Trout, I bet you he's grinding right now. He's gaining right now. And I think it's an interesting time. I think if you're a high school kid or if you're a young athlete, college athlete, maybe if you're a professional athlete, you have a chance that if you can do things on your own, if you are driven to not sit on the couch, and I feel like I'm talking to my kids right now, but if you are driven to not sit on your phone and get lazy with this whole situation, well, then you can come out on the other side of this and gain ground on your competition, which, by the way, might be your teammates for a starting spot or might be other people going for a scholarship. And I don't even know if that equates just to sports. It might be that way in the business world, where you could kind of take this as a 2-month break, or you can reinvent yourself and come out on the other side. I think it was, who was it that tweeted this out? It was fascinating. I was just telling my wife this morning, I saw a tweet, and now I can't remember who tweeted it out, but they said during the Great Depression, the Golden Gate Bridge was built. And it's a great illustration of you can do things even in these things. You don't have to just sit and wait till everybody says, go back to work. That's my point. Whoa. So it's a fascinating time for that. And it's another example of a guy like Kevin Durant and all these great athletes that continuously outwork people, even though they're already at the top of the game.
Listen, man, I'm pretty low key when it comes to trying to hype myself up or brag about myself. But I'm going to say this, like where I got in the NFL, it was a direct correlation to hard work. Okay, like, yeah, I was gifted of being 6'6", and you know, and I was a bigger guy in college, but it stemmed directly from the hard work. And you know, since we started doing this show, then it's given me a chance to kind of reflect back on my career a little bit. And I've never had regrets, to tell you the truth. Like, yeah, obviously didn't want to go to Kansas City, play a 3-4 defensive tackle, you know, but it's all good though, man. Yeah, I only had 3 sacks. Would have loved to sack Mike Vick, you know, would have loved to sack some other guys. But you know what? It's all great because at the end of the day, I'm going to hang my hat on that any coach you talk to, I guarantee it, or any player that you talk to that was my teammate, they're always going to say that I worked as hard as I could, you know? And if you even go to my combine profile, the last thing, and I listen, I don't know what it all says, but all I know is the last thing under my positives is that they say he's a relentless kid who won't stop working. All right. And that's something that was instilled with me with my parents and my grandparents. And that's something that I'm always going to hang my hat on. And it's something that, you know, my last couple years in Chicago, I mean, literally the last coach to say something to me was John Fox. And we know how that went. You're too old. Okay. Didn't really take much away from that, coach. Appreciate it. Good luck with everything. Have fun with that team. See how it works out for you.
When do we get John on the program?
Oh, I know. But the coach before that was Mark Trestman, okay? And Mark Trestman had a horrible year. And I was there for the tail end of it. I literally got in the final week of the season. I get cut in training camp. They bring me back the final game of the season. And it was weird going from a team that had so much hype, that had so much, you know, probability of winning a division, maybe going to the playoffs and making a run, because you had Martellus Bennett. You had Jay Cutler playing pretty well. You know, you had Alshon Jeffrey. You had Brandon Marshall, like, and then a pretty solid defense. It was there for the taking, man. For whatever reason, they couldn't put it together. The locker room crumbled. It is what it is. But when I come back there and I get cut again, you know, and then they let me go after the season, Mark Trestman sits me down and he looks me, and number one, a guy who was never really even there. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy who was on the outside looking in. Mark Trestman calls me into his office, sits me down, looks me eye to eye, and he says, "Do not worry about this." He's like, "I don't know what's going to happen with your football career. I hope it works out for you. But if it doesn't," he's like, "Look at me, awesome." I'm like, all right, because obviously I'm bummed, man. It sucks being cut. I don't care if it's your first time or it's your sixth time. Being cut, it's getting fired. It's not a fun experience. But I'll never forget, Trestman looked at me. He's like, "The way you work and the way you approach life, dude, you're going to be fine. Regardless of what you do, and if football doesn't work out, whatever you have in your back pocket, you'll be successful." And that's something that I always took with me. That's something, once again, I've always hung my hat on. So there you go.
I'll work them, baby.
There's your TED Talk for work ethic today.
By the way, TED Talk coming up every day at 4:25 here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
I just heard work ethic. I probably should have been listening.
Oh, that's all good, Coos. You didn't miss much. You didn't miss much, man. Hey, just like TikTok's not for me and Brent, work ethic, it's not for you, okay? It's not for you. Not a big deal. Not for you.
Very good lesson to be learned. Be like Coos. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Well, we had some baseball. We had some NBA. We kind of went off our...
All right. Well, let's call it a trio here and get some professional wrestling when we get back here on ESPN 690. Let's go for the turkey.
Numbers are spiking already.
I can't do it.
What's this? Numbers rising as we speak?
We talk WWE and AEW and video games coming up next. How about we talk a little more football? I do have a serious question about football.
Okay.
And it's about quarterback coach strangleholds. Are they done? Are we resetting the NFL when it comes to that? Talk about it next. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny, very warm today with a widely scattered shower or thunderstorm, but many spots stay dry in the upper 80s for the high temperature, dropping into low 60s tonight and partly sunny tomorrow, highs in the mid-80s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
You can afford a luxury Infiniti. Right now, the one and only Atlantic Infiniti is offering more than ever before for your trade-in. Get more luxury, get more for your trade, and get it now at the one and only Atlantic Infiniti. 642-0200.
These can be unsettling times, but CGC Water Treatment wants you to know that they are there for you and your family. CGC Water Treatment has 50% savings for you. Purchase a Premier Softener and save 50% off a K5, Connecticut's premier reverse osmosis system. When the shelves at the stores are empty, it's a great feeling to have purified water right at home. Call 904-694-2242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Tillman Auto, SVR Realty, Santionis Restaurant, Evolution Signs and Print, Atlantic Coast Appliance, Spence Industrial Supply. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
After a long day, having my dogs meet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's Best Vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets' friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 8 offices is nearest you. And don't forget the newest location in Riverside, Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Why take the 2020 census? An accurate count of your community helps inform how hundreds of billions of dollars might get used each year for public services like clinics, schools, public transit, and hundreds of programs. Shape your future. Start here at 2020census.gov.
For the ones who forge metal and those with nerves of steel. For the ones who burn the midnight oil and the ones who rise with the sun. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, with over 250 local branches and a team of specialists available 24/7 to help you solve any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by ***, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile. When prospective customers see your offline or online ad and they dial your branded *** Mobile number, *** Mobile helps to convert them through text, voice, and online communications. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile.
It's when you realize the car you drive looks like every other vanilla vehicle on the road, and you want more. You can get more right now at Atlantic Infiniti. When you buy an Infiniti, you simply get more car, more standard luxury for your money. And right now, you'll get more for your trade than ever before. You deserve and can afford luxury. Get more now at the one and only Atlantic Infiniti. 642-0200.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Carrabba's, Sports Clip, Pablo Creek Harbor Place, All Out Paintless Debt Removal, Southern Crossing Antique Mall, Sears Home Services, Willie Jewell's Old Service Barbecue. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
Seriously, my dealership just fixed the transmission.
We all know how it can be to go to the wrong place for transmission repair. Made up of over 800 pieces, the transmission is the most complex part of your car. So bring it to the transmission experts at AMCO.
And those experts are also your best choice for any repairs. See lots of 4- and 5-star reviews to prove it at AMCOJacksonville.com.
AMCO, always the right fix. AA MCO.
Jacksonville Truck Center is here to help you get in the truck you deserve. When you need a fleet vehicle, Jacksonville Truck Center has the largest selection of pre-owned commercial vehicles, including cargo vans and work trucks. We're here to make it easy for you. There's commercial or personal financing available, even if you have bad credit. Don't spend your tax return money anywhere else. Visit the new Jacksonville Truck Center on Arlington Expressway next to the Southside Connector, or online at jacksonvilletruckcenter.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jackson, ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo from Golic and Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
You know, the transition was, I would say, very emotional with a lot of guys that I've talked to, that I've shared the field with, because, you know, the relationships are what matter most to me. You know, I'm going to be friends with my teammates, my former teammates and coaches for the rest of my life. And that's not going to leave just because I'm wearing a different jersey. But at the same time, for me, the new jersey I'm wearing, you know, I'm prepared to give them every bit of commitment that I've had my entire career to be the best I could be, to help this team be the best it could be.
Was that really just Tom Brady mixed with Tiger King
Joe
theme
Exotic.
music?
Joe Exotic, Brent. Come on, get it right, man.
Song called Here, Kitty Kitty.
Yeah, you gonna watch Tiger King?
So apparently this is a thing, right?
It's sweeping the nation by storm. Everybody's on board, Brent.
I'm for sure watching it tonight. Unless it's a
course you are.
series. Like, if it's a movie, I'll watch it.
Hey, it's a documentary, man. It's like a 6-part documentary. Right? Time invested.
I was kind of hoping to knock it out tonight.
You mean you could? Depends
how,
how
6
It
hours.
depends how late you stay up. I'm not watching it. Get out. I've had 6 people in the past week tell me to watch it, and I'm not going to do it, because you know why? I can take one look at the guy and say, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a crazy story. Any guy that owns more than 2 tigers is an absolute probably psychopath. Okay, so there's nothing that can happen in that documentary that's going to shock me. Just take one look at the guy. Have you seen the guy?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's like a cross, but he dresses like a cross between Liberace and Scarface. Like it's crazy what he wears.
Why are people like, would this be a big thing if we didn't have a pandemic going on?
I'm sure.
It would still be.
Listen,
documentaries on Netflix. I mean,
they're crushing it.
Yeah,
Man. They're crushing it.
So
And
seriously, I have no idea. I keep hearing it, and I haven't looked it up. Like, what? I just kind of jokingly said, does it have Tiger Woods in it?
Okay.
Then
There
I
you
might
go.
be interested.
All right. Grabbing that low-hanging fruit. It's all good, though.
Why is it a craze right now, and what is it? It's a documentary about
a guy that owns a bunch of tigers.
So he is a guy that owns tigers.
Well, it's kind of like the life of the owners of tiger sanctuaries, I believe, and like the foul play, the drugs, the money,
death.
everything. Yeah, there's death. Yep, there's some death in it. Murder.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I'm just saying things that are
foul play.
I just watched the trailer of it. But listen, I think people gravitate towards this like people used to gravitate towards Jersey Shore, right? Like we love the obscure, we love the obscene because those people are so much the opposite of what we are. So it's like entertainment. So that's what I think people are into this for.
And you're kind of like, if it's in documentary form, you can convince, you're like, wow, that really does exist.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, though, let's be honest. I've watched some documentaries on Netflix, and it's like, obviously Netflix has a job to try to make it as entertaining as possible and try to, persuade maybe the viewer a little bit. So, like, one could argue, like, did all this really go down? But from what I've heard, it's like the craziest story of all time. Still not going to watch it.
I got friends telling me like it's insane.
I'm still not going to watch it.
It's only 6 episodes?
Yeah.
See,
how long are the episodes?
By the way, I'm ahead of the curve for the first time in a long time when it comes to this stuff. I'm usually 4 seasons back. Like, I just started Homeland last night. That was from 2011.
Yep.
So that's 10 years ago almost.
I still can't believe you're not on the Game of Thrones bandwagon, but that's another story.
I might get on it. But I did watch the first episode of Homeland.
Is it good?
We'll see. I will like it. No doubt. I like that style.
Well, it's kind of like the Jack Bauer stuff, right?
Absolutely,
it's like terrorism. Yeah. See, that's more your thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll get into it. It's amazing that like a documentary like that, though, catches fire so quickly. Mm-hmm. I mean, it has really become the rage. Like, I keep hearing it and seeing it, and everybody's referencing it, and
it's the power of
fad, right?
Well, it's the power of social media, right? Like, where if you have one person watch this obscure thing and like they're going to go on Twitter and be like, hey, this is so crazy, you got to watch it. And all of a sudden it spreads. It spreads like wildfire. And those are the things that spread the most. I think they're true stories that are more of the obscene and obscure because in the back of your mind, like, that actually happened.
It's like the exotic animal mafia.
There we go. Yeah, probably, man. Well, once again, I don't really know what goes on. And I looked at the guy. I heard his song right now, and I'm sure it's crazy. Not going to watch it, though.
I promised some football talk, so let's do it. I've thought of this today, and I love when topics just kind of pop in my mind, and I really wasn't even deep diving or digging on this one.
Well, you haven't asked me yet for any ideas.
No, I haven't.
You've been crushing it.
So let me ask you what I kind of asked myself. Tom Brady, to me, and Bill Belichick have had a stranglehold on the NFL. They did on the AFC East. If you look at the way they did things and why they were so successful, sure, they won enough games, but they beat their divisional opponents. Usually they were 6-0 or 5-1 against them. At a bad year, 4-2. I can't imagine they ever went less than 4-2 against their own division. They won home games, became a very good home field advantage. They would make the playoffs. It's usually a 1 or 2 seed, and therefore they had to win one game to get into a championship game to play for the Super Bowl. So 2, and a lot of times they came at home. Not all the time, but I had to do it at home. So it was a great formula. But if you think about all the quarterback movement, I'm not saying Phillip Rivers had a stranglehold, but he was part of the Chargers for a long time. Peyton Manning obviously has retired in the last little bit. Did this move signify a recycling of that powerful coach-quarterback combo? Belichick doesn't have a quarterback right now.
Yeah.
Well, quite frankly, we don't know if Arians and Brady are going to work out, and I'm not sure the league is scared of it. He's 43 years old. If it does happen, it's going to happen for short term, not long term. Of course, some people said that at age 38 with Tom Brady.
And here we are. Yep.
Andrew Luck, out of the league.
But he had different coaches, though.
And he did have different coaches. And some of these guys did. It wasn't like 20-year runs, but you get my point of it. Whether it was Holmgren and Favre at the time. I mean, heck, I think Roethlisberger and Tomlin fit because you knew they were going to be in the dance. I'm not sure that's the case anymore. Some people don't know if they're going to be in the dance. Now, there's plenty of examples of it.
Patrick
Russell
Mahomes,
Wilson,
Andy Reid,
and Carroll. Mahomes and Reid are the newest.
Jared Goff.
Anybody with I would actually
Jared Goff needs Sean McVay, though, dude. I mean,
he does, but you're not afraid of it. It's not going to be a
gotcha.
stranglehold of the NFL.
Oh, okay.
You know, could you put Wentz and Peterson in the category? I don't know. Wentz hasn't stayed healthy enough for me to sign off on that just yet.
I mean, I would have put Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy back in the day, but now it's LaFleur.
And to be honest with you, even maybe it is LaFleur because Aaron Rodgers tilts that scale so much.
Mm-hmm.
But the point I'm trying to make is, isn't it kind of wide open in that sense? And how I got on this is I'm thinking, all right, what do teams like the Jags? Why can't teams like the Jags, usually the Bills, the Browns, all these teams, why can't they figure it out? Like, why can't they get out of the depths of it? And you always come out with one answer. It's all about quarterback play. Sure, you can pop back in you could say, hey, here we are for a little bit. Arizona Cardinals said that. Hey, yeah, here we are. Go to a Super Bowl. You know, we're good. We're relevant. We're a little, we're competitive. Jags in 17. Maybe the Browns, you know, whenever. Maybe it'll be this year.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills maybe are in the middle of it right now, but they hadn't won for 25 years. How do you?
The Ravens with Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, very good. So, and now they're back in it. But I mean, the Ravens, yeah, they haven't had a stranglehold on the league. They've been good, solid, but you're not scared of them. So, I guess are we in that stage with so many teams now looking at new quarterbacks, young quarterbacks? Are we trying to find that next group of players at the quarterback position and coaches that will then have a stranglehold on the NFL? And that being said, is that where the Jags' opportunity these next couple of years lies? Mm-hmm. Because if you look in your own division, I think Deshaun Watson's going to be a good quarterback for a long time. I'm not sure Deshaun Watson and Bill O'Brien are going to be riding hand in hand for a long time. Who knows what's going on in Indy? Philip Rivers is a one-year deal right now. Titans, are you afraid of Vrabel and Tannehill? Not really. So if you think about your own division, it's kind of wide open, and maybe has been for a bit. But Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, that goes back 20-something years now. Mm-hmm. And Deshaun Watson's kind of replaced that the last couple of years. But it's wide open to kind of say, hey, if Minshew's the guy, or if the Jags have to go to the draft and find somebody else in the next couple of years, well, could they be the guy with whoever the coach is? I think it's open for business. I think that's where you find a way in. Now, another one of these would be Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Mm-hmm, but even that, who still have that stranglehold, they're kind of on the way out. Yeah. So you see my point? It's like, who is going to step into that? Sure, Mahomes and Reed, absolutely, they're in it. Carroll and Russell Wilson, I'd say they're in it.
Absolutely.
Outside of that, you've got to go to other players like Roethlisberger and Tomlin, who could be on his way out. You have to go to Brees and Peyton. Brees is certainly on his way out in the next couple of years. So I'm looking at a 3-year window here, and who's stepping into that where nobody could break it. Nobody could break that Brady, Manning.
I would make an argument for Josh Allen and McDermott. I think McDermott, I mean, he's not really an offensive-minded guy per se, but I think, you know, with his attitude and what Josh Allen does, I think they're going to be together for a long time, especially with Tom Brady out of the AFC East now.
Yeah. I think you could. I think we could look up in 3 years from now and say, hey, they've made the playoffs 5 out of 6 years, and Josh Allen is. Yeah. I would put him in the conversation as a. Again, you've got to remember the quarterback leads this, and in my opinion, the quarterback leads it because there's so much turnover. I mean, even Manning had Dungy, and had a couple of coaches in that. It wasn't like for 15 years he had Dungy,
of course,
and then he actually went to another team. So. Yeah. I think it's driven by the quarterback. That's really the what prompted this discussion. But it goes back to the breakup of Brady and Belichick that to me has really opened the NFL up. And we asked last week when this was happening, how will it change the landscape? I don't know if we got here. We know what changed the landscape of Tampa. They become relevant. They might become better. They might become a playoff team. Maybe they're a contender. It changed the landscape of the Patriots. They don't have Tom Brady anymore. They don't know who their real quarterback is, and they have some other issues. Absolutely changed the scope of those two teams. But I actually think it did more than that. It changed the AFC East, it changed the AFC, and it probably changed the NFL.
I think what we're getting at here as a talking point is the turnover of the quarterback position in the NFL, especially this free agency, obviously, from last season, where it seems like the trend now, back to your Brett Favre days and everything like that. I mean, they had a long run. Now, yeah, granted, Brett Favre, went to New York and then he went to Minnesota, but, they were staples on their teams for a while. And I think the time that a quarterback has to make an impression before he gets let go, it's probably shorter than ever right now. Because if we go back to the years of Steve Young and Dan Marino and Brett Favre and all these guys, you asked, in my opinion, a lot less of them than what you ask of quarterbacks now, right? There's a reason why quarterbacks' numbers are higher than they've ever been before. There's a reason why Patrick Mahomes was set every single record, it seemed like, last year. Back in the days with Brett Favre, yes, Brett Favre was a fantastic quarterback. Led the Green Bay Packers to a couple Super Bowls, won one of them. But he also had the ball to hand off to. He also had Amon Green. He also had Dorsey Levens. They had running backs. Nowadays, man, like you look at a team like Kansas City, I don't know. They had LaShawn McCoy. I don't think he even played the past couple games. Nah. D'Angelo Williams. I don't even know their guys' names, really, man. Whatever their names are. And I apologize. I should know that.
Williams.
But, like, yeah, it's Williams. But, like, to be fair, it doesn't matter who you put at running back in the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? They're going to be successful. And I think that's where the NFL is gravitating towards now, where teams are looking at guys like Patrick Mahomes. And, like, yeah, Lamar Jackson too, but obviously he's an anomaly, right? They don't make Lamar Jacksons on trees, okay? Like, they're hard to come by. But you look at guys like
But they could be in the running. Lamar Jackson and Harbaugh now could be in the running.
But even Ben Roethlisberger, back when the Steelers offense was really humming, like, yes, they had a running game, but let's be honest. It went through Antonio Brown, went through Smith-Schuster, it went through Miller at tight end, and it went through Big Ben, okay? Like, they're the pass-first team, and that's where the NFL is right now. It's pass-first, run second. And I think when you have that as your philosophy for a majority of the teams in the league, well, then, yeah, your quarterback's got to be able to do a lot of things that you ask of them. And let's be honest, there's not a lot of guys out there right now that can do that. So
yeah, I think what's interesting to me again, because it relates to Jacksonville, is Jacksonville's been in the doormat phase of the NFL. I mean, they've been on the bottom in the last 12 years. So let's just take a 10 to 15 year sample. And if you go all the way back and way back, I'll even go back to the 80s and 90s. Overall, I'm not saying a 1 year spike here or there. Again, the Jags spiked in 2017, but it didn't amount to anything long term, is my point. So you could have a one-off season. But overall, I always bring this up, the Saints and the Patriots, and actually the Colts, were miserable. Like, I remember the Colts being 1-15, it felt like every year. The Patriots people had bags over their heads. The Saints were the Aints. Mm-hmm. Well, in the last 2 decades.
Chiefs too, man. Chiefs weren't that good either.
Yeah, very good. Chiefs. Yeah. I mean, you can name a lot of teams that were in that mold. I just gave you 3. There were probably 6 that were in the Browns, of the Jags, the Raiders, the Rams kind of, area that now exists over the last 10 or 15 years in the modern day. So there's always those areas, but what changes them? And obviously for the Saints, Breeze and Peyton ended up getting together. Now, that didn't just happen overnight. Brady and Belichick, well, that Manning, But what happened in that whole thing, too, as we're looking at it, is they not only changed overnight and got good for 3, 4, 5 years, they got good for 10, 12, 15 years. I mean, they had the stranglehold, and of course it adopted with times because the passing game got more prevalent. Quarterback became more important than it ever had been. It's now the most important position in sports, so the game changed with them, and those guys were in prime position to take advantage of it. I don't think we're going to see an era over the next 10 years where the game actually changes. But I do think when you're a bottom feeder team, trying to catch up and keep up with those kind of teams becomes near impossible, because what have people tried to do for the last decade and a half? They tried to find the next Brady. They tried to find the next Manning. They tried to find the next Breeze. And now what we'll try to do is find the next Mahomes and Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson. Well, you can spend a decade and a half trying to find those guys is the answer to that.
Yeah.
And if you're a bad team, you keep trying to find it and trying what I call chasing. And when you're in chase mode, it's a dangerous mode to be in. And no doubt the way to flip it is first to get the quarterback, and then probably to get the right marriage between quarterback and coach. And I think you're looking at a couple of teams that now are in position to change that narrative. You mentioned the Bills. I think I would put them in a conversation. I think you could say the Browns are in the conversation. They feel like they have it. Now, it might fizzle out, but they're in the conversation. I think you could even say the Raiders with Gruden to a 10-year deal, and if Carr or if he finds a young guy instead. But I talked Wentz and Peterson. You said Goff and McVay. Sure, they're not all going to become that, but if 2 or 3 become that, well, they could be like that for the next 15, 20 years. Russell Wilson and Carroll are the greatest example right now, because they have now been together for 6, 7, 8 years, and they've been pretty successful.
This is why I love the game of football, though, because we're sitting here and we're talking about you got to have that quarterback, man. You have to have that Tom Brady. You have to have that Patrick Mahomes. You have to have that Lamar Jackson. And I definitely agree with you. That helps. I mean, that's the biggest cog that makes the machine go. I'm not going to deny that at all. But I can make the argument and say, well, you know what? Aaron Rodgers at a time was probably the best quarterback in the NFL. And I would even put Aaron Rodgers over Brady, because at the end of the day, you put Aaron Rodgers in any single team, he makes that team better. You put Brady in any single team, I'm not sure I can say the same thing. So you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, at the time, best quarterback, only went to one Super Bowl, Brent. Only won one Super Bowl, and that was it. So it's not just the quarterback position. And this is why I love the NFL so much. Because, yes, having the quarterback, it saves you a lot of aches and pains, man. It makes things a lot easier. But the ultimate equalizer, in my opinion, is the defense and the ability to run the football. Now, not saying that's going to be successful for the next 10 years. I'm not saying you can have a great defense and a good run game, and all of a sudden, guess what? Next 10 years, the division's yours. No, that's not how the game works at all. You have to rebuild. Teams always refurbish, everything like that, and you lose some guys. Jacksonville Jaguars, prime example. Tennessee Titans this past season. We'll see what happens with them. But I'm just saying, sometimes the ultimate equalizer can be a good defense.
It can, for a one-year pop or a two-year pop, like you're talking about. I think your Aaron Rodgers example is a great one, but they've been relevant that whole time because they've knocked on the door. They haven't gone. I mean, he's the Dan Marino of this era, and only that he won instead. Marino didn't win. Marino went early on and didn't win it. But I guess what would be an interesting part of this is, can you find a team in the last 10, 12, 15 years that kind of thought they had their quarterback and were not able to win? And you know what? A good example of this could be is Cam Newton and the Panthers.
Well,
the Panthers,
Andrew Luck and the Colts as well, I think.
And you know what? You're right. They fit in that mold. I think they thought they had this supreme guy. I mean, well, they did. I mean, he's a brilliant quarterback.
Yeah.
They ran into some bad luck late with the injuries and now the early retirement. But Cam Newton's another one. Now, he went to one.
He did.
But they were also pretty mediocre a lot of those years with Cam Newton.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and same thing with Andrew Luck, too. Like, listen, playing in the division with Peyton Manning, that obviously, playing for the Jaguars, it sucked because we knew how good Peyton Manning was. And then all of a sudden, all the wheels started to turn in motion. And, being a player for the Jaguars, you're like, oh, they're about to get Andrew Luck now. Peyton Manning's leaving, and now they got Andrew Luck. You kidding me? They obviously lucked into that, no pun intended, but it never came of anything. They had some playoff runs and everything like that, but Andrew Luck never went to the big one.
You know what else is interesting here is actually Dalton and Marvin Lewis could be in the category. They went to the playoffs however many times in a row. They just couldn't win a game.
Yep.
So, it's not an exact science.
Of course not.
But it's just another example of the quarterback carries so much weight, who that is.
Well, and you saw it with Kingsbury and now Kyler Murray in Arizona. You saw what Kingsbury sacrificed to get Kyler Murray.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
And we'll see if it pans out for him. It's a big risk-reward proposition. We come back 10 questions in 5 minutes. We'll get to that and more football talk on the way.
Golic and Wingo.
LeBron James, of all people, is tweeting about it. He said, listen, I know I don't play baseball, but I am in sports. Stop right there.
Sports is the game. LeBron's the name. I work in the business, see?
Now you listen to me, baseball commissioner. I'm going to tell you something right now, Sonny. There's going to be some high, hard chin music coming to those Astros players, so you better make sure you take care of what's needed to be taken care of, because otherwise those players will take it into their own hands.
Making tires out of rubber now.
There you go.
Golic and Wingo. Weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Family is big around here. We're family-owned, family-operated, family-managed. And that means legacy. That means dependability. That means using Grainger. With over 1.5 million products and knowledgeable product experts, Grainger has whatever we need. And with same-day pickup and next-day delivery options, they have it whenever we need it. For over 90 years, businesses like ours have trusted Grainger. Because, like family, Grainger's got our back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
During this crisis, the Players Center for Child Health at Wolfson Children's Hospital will continue to assist families with free application assistance for public benefits. If you need one-on-one help with applying for public benefits like Medicaid, SNAP, TCA, etc., for you and your family, they are able to assist families over the phone to complete and navigate their benefits application. To get connected, call 904-202-9355. Si habla Español translation services available. This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Vet Eye Care Animal Hospital, Mandarin Pet Emergency Hospital, Duval Asphalt, Vinny's Italian Restaurant, High Tide Burrito Company, Margaritas. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this. Shop now and save on these items and many more during the March into Spring sale at your neighborhood Ace. Proven winners, gorgeous Blew My Mind perennial flowers, just $4.99 in the 1-gallon size. Get Fertilome 1648 premium lawn food from Ace for $19.99 in the 40-pound bag. Wet and Forget mold and mildew cleaner in various sizes and applications on sale now from $15.99. Find more great deals and the location nearest you at acehardware.com. Sale ends March 30th.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents, instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not on the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home. Get a virtual consultation. Visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com. Or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
As prescription costs rise, many Medicare beneficiaries are having difficulty keeping up. The Florida Department of Elder Affairs SHINE program may be able to help. SHINE counselors can guide you to money-saving programs, including one that may help pay your Medicare Part D costs. For more information, call 1-800-963-5337 or go to floridashine.org.
Buy online from the comfort of your home when you shop ArlingtonToyota.com. At Arlington, they get it. They know right now things are different. But instead of thinking of things we can't do, Arlington is focused on what we can do, like shopping online from home at ArlingtonToyota.com. Getting your ride delivered to your door. Even the parts department will deliver parts to your door. And service? Drop it off and they'll give you a free ride home. I knew I always liked Arlington Toyota. Plus, you can still get savings up to 50% less on the ride you've been wanting. And it's all at arlingtontoyota.com, like a 2020 Toyota Corolla. It's not $17,635. Now it's only $14,991. That's $14,991 for a pre-owned 2020 Toyota Corolla at Arlington. How about a 2019 Toyota RAV4? It's not $24,195. Now it's $19,471. Yeah, just $19,471 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota RAV4 at Arlington. For shopping with all the comforts of home, visit arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/50% off for offer details.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best 4G LTE networks, same as the big carriers, but just for a lot less. Just $45 a month. Gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, saving you up to half the cost of the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, half the cost. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
This is the Frells family. They live on a piece of land they call greener pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frells family runs with us, because this is more than just land. It's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Tua's issue is this: durability, period. That's it. That's the only issue. His arm strength isn't like A++, but it's good enough. He is a special player with a much deeper resume than Joe Burrow, and a little bit younger. Burrow's heights, the highest heights he achieved were greater than Tua's because of the season he just had, capped by the final game he just had. So that's amazing for Joe Burrow, but it's a thinner resume than Tua's.
I'm Max Kellerman. First Take. Of course, First Take, your take right before us with Jason Fitz, 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. here on ESPN 690. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos back on a Wednesday of Action Sports Jax. We are here 3 until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday as well. Thanks for checking us out on the airwaves, also on ESPN690.com. And there's many ways to check us out from your work at home if you're doing that, and especially on the video feeds, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Look up ESPN 690 or ESPN 690 Jax, and you'll be able to find us on 10 different platforms as well. No excuses.
It's a lot of platforms.
Everybody said, like, why don't you have an app? It's like, well, we got like 10 of them.
Yeah. I mean,
we just let them do the work for us.
We're literally everywhere. Yeah. Sorry for the convenience.
But we do understand less people are probably driving to and from work, listening in the car, but you can do it on ESPN690.com. You can stream us, and also all the video platforms. You can always see what Austin is eating for lunch.
I've actually
you've moved that.
No, I moved it out to the Couz's spot because the lady yelled at me. Yeah, because the janitor yelled at me that one time. So
yeah,
I think we all remember how that went down with the Chipotle.
That was
box.
way before the pandemic.
Oh, it was way before that. Yeah, but it was kind of my own little pandemic.
Her note for you is still on the door, though.
Say what?
Her note for you is still on the door.
Yeah, and I see she added an E to my name because she spelled it I-N, which is obviously this is amateur hour in here. So yeah, she changed it to an E, but it's a backwards E, like Eminem.
Be nice to people.
I'm always pleasant. What are you talking about? Be nice to people.
It doesn't sound too pleasant right now.
Why? Because she spelled my name wrong?
Yeah.
I mean,
spell it right.
It's
Most
common
people
courtesy.
spell it with an I.
Absolutely. My mom wanted me to be special, okay? And she named me after Jane Austen. Ever heard of her? Big author. I'm kidding. I'm not named after Jane Austen. Could you imagine?
I actually have heard of her.
Yeah. Pride and Prejudice, right? Or no, I was way
let's
off.
not go crazy now. I've heard of her, okay? That's
I don't know. That's probably way off with that one. Hang on.
Tim, by the way, says Foles, Eli, Flacco, Broken Peyton all won this decade.
Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice, nailed it. Yeah,
you better know that. Cap, Ryan, and Goff made the game. Elite QB play doesn't make the Super Bowl as much as people think. They are a reason since 1996, only one QB making over 10% or Cap has won a Super Bowl in terms of dollars, I think. That's a good point. And by the way, Tim reaching out to you in your Twitter handle. This is not the right Austin Lane.
Uh-oh.
This is Austin.
Is it Austin with an I?
This is great. No, this is great. This is Austin with an I, and Austin Lane won, and he is best of the best wrestler, actor, Ghostbuster, Fear Factor champion, and radio personality.
Fear Factor champion?
And a radio personality. I mean,
wait, what?
Check him out.
What?
Yeah. So, I mean, he actually has a bunch of your credentials.
Hang on. How do you... Hold on.
This is going to confuse some people.
Everybody just relax, all right? How do you spell the Twitter handle?
Austin Lane, Austin.
A-I-N, okay.
Lane.
Lane.
1.
Let's check out this. 1. It's a 1. Like, what a loser. And you guys are trying to...
What a loser.
What a loser. 1 what? What are you the 1 in? All right, here we go. Twitter, Austin Lane 1.
I don't think it's very nice to call him a loser. He's a great guy.
Oh, no. This guy's a wrestler. He's a pro wrestler.
Well, no, I just said that.
Yeah, but I kind of went dark when you started talking about...
I mean, he's a Ghostbuster for crying out loud.
How many followers?
1760. Where are you at?
A little more than that. little more than that. And I always say I don't care about it, but in this situation, I kind of do. All right, let's do a little more reconnaissance here.
Should we have him on? Is he allowed to come up?
I feel like, it's crazy is it's the first time I think I've seen that you've been confused with him, but it's actually not a bad play by Tim there. I mean, he goes with the wrestler. You love talking wrestling.
No, it's a horrible play, Tim. Come on.
He probably didn't even do that. He probably just tried to tag
radio
Austin.
Personality.
But here's the thing. When you tried to put Austin, like if you don't do A_, Austin doesn't come up. Like if you actually spell out his name, it's not going to pull Austin up. You have to do A_ train _. So maybe that's
it's your fault, man. You made it harder.
Hey, make the effort if you want to talk to me. How does that sound?
That's because if you had gone Austin Lane, you would have been like 3.
Austin Lane 3.
No, AUSTEN. Oh, it's only me and Jane Austen, baby. We're riding to the sunset together. So I'm sitting fine there. Not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When you have to put a 1, you're actually number 2 because, I mean, somebody got your name and didn't have to put a number. So.
Well, what did Tim want to say to me? Anything?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, was there a question behind this?
No, I already read it. I read what Tim said was the
once again,
quarterbacks.
Brent, I forgot what you said.
He basically was saying that you don't have to be supreme quarterback to win. He said 10%, one QB making over 10% or cap has won a Super Bowl since 1996.
Okay.
Now, what Tim's not bringing up is Tom Brady should have been paid $50 million a year based on quarterback salaries for the last decade and a half, and he hasn't been.
But would that change the whole Patriots team then? Would they have been able to have everybody?
That's a fair point. Good point.
Oh, Tim apologized to me. He said, sorry, wrong Austin. Tim, first of all, man.
Tim, thanks for the conversation piece.
First of all, man, all good because you have the Juggernaut as your screen picture, so I'm not mad at that. Number 2, I'm going to find Austin Lane 1 and shut him down because he's obviously an imposter, and people are getting confused. I've been wondering why my Twitter numbers have not been going up lately, so going to go ahead and reach out to Twitter and say he was posting some immature stuff.
2 months into the pandemic, we'll have Austin Lane 1 on the show.
No, you won't because I'm shutting them down right now. How do you report stuff? Report. Here we go.
Oh, my.
Report. Austin Lane 1. For what reason? Boom. All right. And obviously,
these days, put them in for licking toilets or something. It probably won't go over well.
You better believe Twitter's going to see me verified and be like, well, we got to take this seriously. This guy's verified. Tell us we got to block this guy. Sorry, Austin Lane 1. Try again next time.
Yeah, problem is
he's going to come back as Austin Lane 2.
It's like slander right here for Austin Lane. I love you, Austin Lane 1. Never met you, but I'm sure we'd love you. All right, let's do this. 10 questions in 5 minutes. What you got for us today, Coos?
So, to start it off, that intro audio that we used from Max Kellerman is going to be my first question because Tua posted a video on Twitter. So, that comment from Max Kellerman was him saying Tua should go number 1 now.
Is this you or me?
It's going to be for Brent.
Okay.
The question is, does Tua move up because of that video on social media?
It's just softballs. Softballs getting lobbed into Bruce. Set it on the tee for him next time.
No, he is not moving up. Joe Burrow's going to be the number 1 overall pick. The Miami Dolphins, I think, are picking number 3, and they will take him. I don't think the Redskins are going with another young quarterback. I'll tell you what. Here's my deal on Tua, and it's fascinating because let's just put it in the context of this. Say he slipped to the Jags at number 9. Mm-hmm. What would you do? I'd have an extremely hard time passing up potentially a franchise quarterback. And what we just talked about, like what we have said, you've got to find a quarterback. Well, you have an opportunity. It falls in your lap that you could potentially find him. But here's my overall thought on Tua, and I haven't wavered yet, and this video doesn't do anything for it. I am not convinced he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I really am not. The risk of injury certainly is out there, and I really think that eliminates a team like Jacksonville. They're not in the position to be taking those kind of risks. In fact, Miami isn't either, and a lot of teams aren't in the top 10. Mm-hmm. That's where they get in trouble. To our conversation from a segment ago, when you're chasing uphill, you make moves like this that could get you in more trouble with a little bit of bad luck. Now, could be the gamble you make and that bold move you make that is, wow, look what we just did, and it works out for the next 15 years. I just don't have the confidence from an injury history or even his play translating to the NFL. I don't know why. It's more of a gut, but I don't think this will change it, Kuz, to answer your question. I think he'll be the number 3 overall pick to the Miami Dolphins, and he sure as heck wouldn't get past the Chargers at number 6, even if he did. But he's not supplanting Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the guy in Cincinnati.
All right. Another one easy for Austin.
Yeah, softball.
Stephon Diggs tweeting out a question asking, who are the top 5 wide receivers in the game? So who are your top 5 wide receivers in the game?
Hey, you ask. Okay, whatever. Give me, all right, top 5 wide receivers. Jerry Rice, obviously. I got to go Calvin Johnson. Got to go Randy Moss. Terrell Owens. And this is just kind of like from my, I mean, I'm sure there's older guys.
There's not many, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Rice really the...
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Rice is but he's the OG, you know. My last receiver. I know there's a shot clock violation. I'm hurrying up. Don Beebe. Big play for my childhood, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Did you put Larry Fitzgerald on there?
Oh, yeah, Larry Fitzgerald. Thank you. Brent's interrupting, by the way.
No, I didn't know if you did.
And you put Julio. Wow, Julio Jones. No, let's put Larry Fitzgerald. You know what? I know I'm going back on my word. Let's go ahead and take Don Beebe out of there. And let's go ahead and insert Larry Fitzgerald. Sorry, Don. Sorry, Ben.
All right, Brent, for you, the NFL considering changing its one helmet rule, prohibiting teams from altering the logos on the helmets, which a lot were saying could go to some throwback helmets. So what's like one throwback helmet that you would want to see them bring back?
Good question. And I didn't see that. That's interesting. I didn't see that
I
out
didn't see
there.
either. It's probably making it up.
That would actually be a bad idea, though.
I like that.
Allow teams to do that like once.
Yeah. Well, I can't. Sorry.
Ooh, throwback helmets. I'm bad at this game. This was a bad thing for me.
I love it.
I'm bad at this game. I could care less about logos and uniforms. Can we go get the old, now that Brady's playing, the creamsicle one? No, but I said this the other day, actually. I do think the Patriots, and I'm not a Patriots fan, but I do think that old Patriots logo is one that actually would still be cool today. Like, it would be received very well to go back and pat the Patriot and put that on the side of a helmet for a throwback game. That would be kind of cool. See, the Jags couldn't have a throwback helmet, really, because they've gone back to their original.
Oh, do I throw it in right now?
Go it.
Okay. Go ahead and give me the old Giants logo, obviously.
I knew you were going to say that.
But you remember the Broncos logo, man? I was a fan of the Broncos logo.
Yeah, the Broncos. What is it now?
It's, it's just like the
the old, They've changed that.
Those are kind of the big two
But I was
for
thinking
me.
of the Bucks. Like the Bucks with the creamsicle, they could
with
go back the whole thing.
With the guy with the knife in his mouth. Yeah, that's cool too. But, dude, you want to talk about that old school Bronco? Look at that right there, Brent. I like that, man.
That'd be good.
That's good.
That'd be good.
All right. Well, I said my 2 cents.
There's your interrupter.
I'm glad I wasted my interrupter on that.
There it was. All right, Austin. So Mike Freeman was tweeting that it's becoming more and more thought around the NFL that they're going to have to move the start of the season because of the coronavirus. So do you think they end up moving it?
I think so, man. I mean, there's obviously a lot of uncertainty still, and we don't know what's going to happen even in a week now. But I think, Sean Payton obviously, falling ill to it. And I just think that, this is the NFL's chance to kind of follow suit a little bit depending on what happens. But let's be honest here, man. I mean, there's not a cure yet as far as I know. I don't know. I know there's a lot of speculation, but there's not a cure. We don't really know how to combat this thing yet. And the last thing you want to do is get a bunch of guys around each other with risks of, possibly giving it to somebody. So I think, yeah, absolutely. The OTAs will probably be, eliminated for sure. Training camp might get pushed back. The preseason might be shorter, but I definitely see some changes coming down the NFL's way.
All right, Brent, for you, name 2 Jags that will take the biggest leap next year. You cannot say Minshew or Allen.
That's good. It'll be hard for Josh Allen to take a bigger leap. He had 10
That's actually fair, yeah.
Minshew, you just hope, and even he had a very productive season for the most part. I think the obvious one here is Josh Oliver. He starts from a very low bar, and can he have the DJ Chark-esque kind of year? So that's a little hit and hope, but also logical too. I would say the other guy, and most of us think young, I'm saying Miles Jack. I think Miles Jack now has a chance. And Miles, I've done this 2 years in a row, and I'm 0 for 2. But if you can deliver this time,
he's going to re-up again, he said.
I feel like Miles has the ability, has the skill set to be a star in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yet I'm still waiting. Does
Triple
the
or nothing.
move to weak side linebacker enable that to happen? I think they've put him in the best situation they've put him yet in his career. And will he take advantage of it? I got to believe. Miles is a good young man.
Sure.
I don't know how, like in this time, how driven he is, all those kind of things. I don't know. I'm not close enough to him to know that. But when you get to this, this stage of it, you've got to have a huge chip. Does he carry the Jan chip to say, man, I can't wait to get back on that football field. I am busting my butt day in, day out. I am working harder than anybody else. And if he does that, combined with the move to the weak side and this new focus for Miles Jack, I think he has the chance to be actually one of the most improved players in the entire NFL.
As someone that's taken David Johnson 3 years in a row, first in fantasy, it doesn't always work.
Don't do it this year.
No, I'm not going to do it this year. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've tripled down on that one. Austin, what is your Jags hot take for next year?
Ooh, my Jags hot take. I mean, I can say the defense switching. Well, come on, I've done that a million times now. Something new, something fresh, something exciting. Jags hot take. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will switch up their offense so much that they bring back a fullback and use him instead of going with the empty backfields with Leonard Fournette. I think they use a fullback because to be a physical running team, I think you need one. So I think they actually sign a legitimate fullback.
All right, I'll break up the Jags talk because my next ones are all Jags except for this.
Was that a hot take or was that kind of a mild? That was a medium take.
I thought it kind of sucked.
That was a mild take. Well, come on. Hey, Brent, go and use your thing and jump on in.
We need like a ghost pepper take. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, Brent, what do you got for us?
Not ready to go there.
Because you don't know. It's a hard question. I'm getting these Randy Johnson sliders.
Right. There you go. Hot take. Interrupter.
Here we go. Interrupter.
Ready?
What do you got? Yeah.
Jaguars will have more wins than the Patriots in 2020.
Let's go and put that in the books.
Put that on the board.
Gonna go and put that in the books.
All right, while he's doing that.
Call it a two-toll wager.
While he's doing that, Brent, another question that showed up on Reddit asked if Clowney does not get top of the market money, does that potentially bring Jan back to the table with the Jags?
It should. But I don't think this is about money. The way you have to couch that question is you have to admit to yourself this is about money. It might be a little bit about money. It started, of course, as money. It always does, whether people want to admit it or not. But this has built into more than the money. And what could get Jan back to the table is a lack of interest from other teams, or at least the amount of interest that he is expecting. And an example of that is Clowney right now. An example of that is he hasn't been traded, and there hasn't been enough hot rumors. I think a lot of these rumors were very soft rumors in the last week. To me, there hasn't been enough substantiated rumors about, well, things are heating up and someone's willing to give up a first and a fourth for him or whatever. So that's the thing that I think gets the Jags talking sooner than later, and Jan saying, you know what? This has been a scary time for everybody. I'm going to go get my money. And maybe my money's not as high as I thought it was, but let's go talk about it and see. That could maybe get him back. But again, I don't think it's driven by money. I think it's driven by his market. And right now, bigger than that, he ain't getting to the table because I think it's driven by a chip and a separation between him and the organization that he don't want to get back to the table.
All right, so the next two questions for Austin are going to be kind of like follow-up questions, but we'll have Brent's answer in between. The first one is, what's going to be the Jaguars' biggest weakness going into next year?
I mean, it's hard to answer because I haven't seen the draft yet. But right now, once again, tight end is an easy thing to say. The Jaguars' biggest weakness, I think that it's been their weakness now for the past 3 years. It's their ability to shut down the tight end. I think, I can say a lot of things. Their defense in general, but I think linebacking play and covering the tight end is their biggest weakness right now.
All right, Brent. Stephen A. Smith said today that the Panthers kind of did Cam wrong by waiting so long to release him. Wanted to get your opinions on that. Should they have let him go sooner? Did they have an obligation to kind of help him out?
Well, I'm not sure they have an obligation to do so. It's a tricky time with Cam Newton. I don't like the way this unraveled. I think it was a bad look for Carolina, new ownership. I think it's a bad look for the way you're handling those kind of things with a guy that meant a lot to that organization, a lot to Charlotte, North Carolina. So, yes, I think it was bad. I agree with Stephen A. Smith. I don't think that was a good look at all. Did they have to do it a different way? No, not really. I mean, they're not going to – what's going to happen to them? I mean, they're not going to be fined. They're not going to lose games. They're not going to lose draft picks. It's just not the way you want to see business handled. We don't know all the details, so we don't know the exact way to do it. But the bottom line is they tried to come out and say it was an amicable thing and it was a mutual thing. Well, obviously, in his font, Cam Newton came out and said it differently. But on top of that, it was odd to me that they said those things and then a day later signed Teddy Bridgewater. You know, why didn't they back that up a little bit more? Why didn't they say it a few days earlier? To me, the divorce between them and Cam Newton and then the instant marriage between Teddy Bridgewater and them was a bad look. And then they tried to, after the fact, get trade value for a guy who can't get a physical right now, and we don't know who's healthy, and therefore had to release him. So I think they messed it up on a lot of levels, and more of it was timing and communication with Cam. I didn't like the look of it from Carolina.
Brent's crushing this right now.
The last question for you, Austin, is where will the Jags be the thinnest going into next year?
The thinnest?
Yes, like position-wise, I guess.
Punter.
Yeah, I mean, he only got one punter.
Well, he weighs 185 pounds, too.
I see where we're going. I mean, I think, once again, it's a tight end position, really. I mean, because here's the thing. Right now, you got Tyler Eifert. Obviously, I think the way it's drawn up right now, he's going to be the starter going forward, and Josh Oliver will back him up. But, you know, they're probably going to use a lot of two tight end sets, especially in the run game. So both guys will get playing time. If you analyze the draft this year, not a deep tight end class at all, so you can assume that no one's really going to come in from the draft and make an impact right away. In terms of free agency, you got Delaney Walker out there, Trey Burton supposedly on the chopping block. But besides that, there's not a lot to go around. One could argue, does Jordan Reed get a chance from Gruden? Obviously, Gruden spent a lot of time with Jordan Reed. Obviously, you know where I stand, where I think the guy's had one too many concussions, and I think he should seriously consider hanging him up. So I think the thinnest position right now is the tight end spot, but it's like 1A, but 1B right now, to me at least, depending what the defense is going to do with their scheme, but it's also the three technique because you go after guys in free agency. They're not household names, but I still want to see the guy that can put the three technique over the top, you know, and whether that's Brown playing out of position a little bit, playing a three technique, or whether that's Kinlaw, you have to go address a situation, especially in the pass game where a three technique is so underrated and so vital to making that line of four work in the pass game.
There it is.
We used our interrupters. We got them all out of the way.
Yep.
Definitely took longer than 10 minutes.
Don Beebe got mentioned. Shout out to Don Beebe.
Don Beebe pullback was interesting.
Yeah.
Of all those things, actually, before we go to break, so that's the hot one right now, right? Name your top 5 receivers.
Yeah.
These things happen, by the way. This isn't just a pandemic thing, but I think we're happening more and more. Mm-hmm. Like the one that is about, I don't really like participating in these things. It's kind of like the shows. I don't know what it is about me, but I don't like falling in line with everybody else. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like, say, if you tell me that I got to go watch this Tiger show, I don't really want to go see it then.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to go find it myself and watch it because I want to, not because you told me to.
Yeah.
Friend's going to come in 2 years from now and be like, oh my gosh, this Tiger show.
Well, that too, maybe 10. But I probably will see it and enjoy it. But these other things like, what was it, 5 jobs you've had? Have you seen that one floating around? And 5 cities you lived in? See, he doesn't spend a lot of time on the
I've seen that one.
I don't, for a reason. Yeah,
I've seen them all. I mean, those were the big ones in the last week.
Five jobs you had?
5 jobs you've had. I think it was there was some kind of there was some kind of rule with the job one because
was it?
Yeah, I forget what it was.
Was it outside of the business that you were in?
I think so.
This is actually that's a great.
I don't remember I even had 5 jobs yet. Oh.
We've had 3.
I mean, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Did you like?
But a lot of these jobs were like it would have been for me.
Right.
It would have been like valet parker.
Yeah.
You know, bagger at a grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of jobs.
I guess I don't think this is as a job sometimes because I have so much fun. But yeah, you're right. Radio personality, MMA fighter, football player, golf course bag washer, or club washer dude, and landscaper. Okay, we're good.
You got
it. Nailed it.
But again, that might not fit the criteria. I don't know how the criteria happen. But I was thinking of this today. This is one to think of. I don't want to put you on the spot. But I think we could ask some folks this.
Okay, hit me with it.
Because there's so many questions about how everything's going to work out. Let's just be real. Let's say, hey, 4 months from now, the economic impact of the sports world has been sucked out of everybody.
Yeah.
Right? That sports radio doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So what job are you then going to get? Right?
Yeah.
So now that you have to go get a job, right? What would you do? What would you do? Like, how do you restart your career at 10 years after college, or for me, it would be 20 years after college. I wonder what people would say to that. You got yours, Kuz, but I'm not even going to answer it right now because I'm going to bring it up later. I'm going to kind of throw it out there on social media at some point, and I'd like some thought on this one. Because it'd be fast. Like, should you then, I'm going to go get my whatever education and be an accountant, right? Or am I going to go back and be a teacher? I'm going to be a coach, or I'm going to be whatever.
Math. No.
I joke with Nicole about this all the time.
Can we say our answers or
yeah,
not?
if you know your answer, like, I don't even know what. I need help. Actually, I'm looking for help in case.
He needs to know what he should do.
Where should I be trending?
Well, I joke about it all the time with Nicole because I'm paranoid all the time. When I used to leave the house and she was home, I'd be like, well, today's the day I'm going to get fired. And she'll be like, why? I'm like, I don't know. Probably just feels that way. So I've always told her if I get fired, I'm going to either one, be a butcher and work in the meat department at like Publix, or I'm going to go volunteer at the zoo and train monkeys.
Huh.
I think you have to go to college for that, but
do you?
Yeah, I have no idea.
What's the time frame here? Like, I mean, assuming like in the next year, should we say?
Yeah, let's just say your career. By the way, it doesn't have to be somebody took the job from you. It could be like, okay, I got tired of it, and I want to go reset.
Austin
Lane
that, 1
right?
came through and took your job.
Good point.
I mean, so
he's on his way in.
So sports radio is out of the question then, right? So something different.
Yeah, you gotta be. I mean, I'm talking like a total reset.
So, okay, I got it.
You know, like I'm not saying okay, let's just do our show then on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying like you reset everything. You're like, I'm going to start from scratch.
Yep.
Even though I went to college for this and I've been doing this and all this stuff, like where would you go?
So I have something in my back pocket that I acquired when I was doing Uber probably 2 years ago. And I took a gentleman from the beach bars to downtown. This gentleman was in a punk rock.
This is a strip club coming up?
No.
I was just saying, it sounds like you're about to get into a pyramid scheme.
Strip club DJ. Strip club DJ, actually. All right. Make sure you tip Cherry Daiquiri and welcome to the stage.
Cherry Daiquiri.
No, I'm kidding. No. So took this gentleman to downtown, and he happened to be a musician. And he is a hard rock / punk rock musician, plays the lead guitar. Said that they were in the need of a lead singer in a punk band. And I told him, I don't know, man. I don't know anything about singing. He's like, dude, it's punk rock. It's more attitude than it is talent. So I would probably give that dude a call, and I would probably be a lead singer in a punk rock band.
You know, that would fit you perfectly, by the way, too. From NFL guy to MMA to radio personality to punk rock band.
Yep, absolutely,
singer.
man. Yeah.
Dude, like, seriously, like he said, I'm about firefighter.
Dude, like he seriously said, like, you should, like, he wanted me to try it. I'm like, I don't got time, but yeah.
Listen, I don't have an answer for you. This wasn't really designed for today, but then we brought up the whole.
Come on, Brent, play along, man.
No, I really don't know.
All right.
There was
sad.
No, well, it is sad in a way, but there was a stage in my career. Let's say I'm 42. I would say like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that ballpark, where like everybody in our business at some point, because like maybe you didn't get a job that you thought you were going to get, or you're like, it's not moving quick enough, or it's like, dang, I'm still only getting paid this, and you're working all these out, whatever it might be, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But almost across the board, everybody in our business thinks about it one time or another. All right, I'm getting out of here, right? And so there was that stretch around time that it crossed my mind, like, if I got out, what would I do? Like, really thought about it hard. And, well, I put that to bed quick because I seriously couldn't think of something that I'd rather do at that time.
Do you want to come be a strip club DJ with me? Yes. You can do that, man.
Now I might need to.
Everybody put your hands together and put your hands for Candy Cane. Coming to the stage now. Tip your star tender. It's all right.
So I've jokingly said before that if I didn't have a job in the next whatever, then I would go work at like Chick-fil-A, because the people at Chick-fil-A always seem to be very happy.
Dude, I feel like I don't want to sound offensive here. I don't know if you meet the qualifications of a Chick-fil-A employee. Like, have you seen those commercials? Like, you have to know sign language. You have to like network. Dude, like, I don't know if you fit those qualifications. Hate to tell you, man.
Sundays off
too. Oh, those are nice. Watch some football.
That'd be a little bit different than
I'm
the last
just saying,
20
man,
years.
Chick-fil-A employees, like, there's got to be an intense screening process.
But I really don't know. Like, I'm talking about a reset. I'm not talking about something you do for a couple of weeks, a reset of your career at 35, at 40, at whatever it is. That's an interest. Listen, we kind of laugh, we joke a little bit, but this is a serious topic. I mean, I think people are going to have to do that to some degree in the next few months. And by the way, a lot of people have had to do that anyway, like in their careers, whether it was a business that went out of business or something wasn't working out. I mean, people do this. I mean, I've been fortunate to be doing this for 20 years, but that's not how it always works.
Okay, I've always kind of had a theory. If I ever turn to be a professional wrestler, and I want you to come with me here, Brent. We turned out to be professional wrestlers, and our stage name is going to be Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll is obviously going to be like the kind of the proper guy, the eloquent speaker, and then Hyde's going to be like the monster dude. That's going to be me. Yeah, you're Jekyll and I'm Hyde, man, and we're going to be professional wrestlers. How does that sound?
That's very good. I see we're taking this exhibition seriously.
Put it on the books. Let's make some money.
I said I was going to be
Tony Khan a call right
now.
Tony
Khan, Jekyll and Hyde coming to a ring near you.
I would be a pretty bad wrestler.
Dude, he's got to talk. You don't have to wrestle. Like, I'll do the wrestling. You just hype me up and everything.
I don't think I was thinking far enough out like there for mine. I said just work at Publix. Like, I was just going to go cut meat.
Publix would be a great job. Be there for a long time.
Not at Publix, but I used to do that.
Yeah, it's a good gig. All right, we'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Forget the job talk. We're going back to football.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Clearing skies tonight. Temperatures will be pleasant. We'll drop into the low 60s by morning. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
All offers are with approved credit and not in conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Ram Truck Month.
We're having a sale so big, it's going to shape the way we do all sales. At Jacksonville, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Bay Meadows. Step up to Ram, and for a limited time, get up to $14,000 off MSRP. Every model, every option. Drive a brand new Jeep Cherokee from just $249 a month. Get the one you want and get up to $5,000 off. Jacksonville, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, I-295 and Bay Meadows.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest-growing sports station in Jacksonville. It was a lot of fun playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars for 3 years, and I'm having just the same amount of fun on the radio every single day with ESPN 690. So I'm reaching out to you to be part of our team and grow your business with ESPN 690. Give us a holler at 245-8732. That's 245-8732. We look forward to hearing from you and hope you join the team.
After a long day, having my dogs meet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's Best Vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vet's friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 8 offices is nearest you. And don't forget the newest location in Riverside, Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Jack Truck Center, Homespun Restaurant, Foreman Heating and Air, Gators Dockside, Crystal Clean Pools, Guabana Ice Pops. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick & Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. Clearly, it's because I'm on every morning from 6 till 10 a.m. But this isn't about me. It's about your business. Get your business noticed today. First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get on our team than right now. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
Everyone loves an upgrade. A corner table at your favorite restaurant. First class on a plane. Now is the time for you to upgrade. At Atlantic Infinity. Right now at Atlantic Infinity, you'll get more for your trade than ever before. And when you buy an Infinity, you'll replace that boring dashboard in your current vehicle and get more joy from your daily commute. You can afford a luxury Infinity. And right now, you can get more for your trade at the one and only Atlantic Infinity. 642-0200.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Duval Acura, ASP Dental, Village Cafe, Northeast Florida Home Inspections, McGowan Heating and Air, CC's Pizza. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
Every day, new information comes out about the coronavirus. At Action News Jax, we want you to know that we are on top of every new development. And every day, we're talking to experts, uncovering new information, and sharing what we're learning with you.
I'm Action News Jax anchor Tanika Hughes. ActionNewsJax.com is filled with valuable information on the impacts to Florida and Georgia. Stay calm, stay with us, and stay informed.
Action News Jax is local coverage you can count on.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents, instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not on the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home. Get a virtual consultation. Visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com. Or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663.
All offers with approved credit and not a conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Ram Truck Month.
We're in a battle to sell the most pickups this month.
We battle.
You save. At Jacksonville, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Arlington. Get a brand new Ram and save up to $14,000 off MSRP. Find out why we're beating the competition on Ram trucks.
Gas or diesel.
For a limited time, save up to $14,000. Jacksonville, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Arlington, 9600 Atlantic Boulevard.
What's that sound? It's the brakes. Are we sliding backwards? Seriously, my dealership just checked them.
Brakes, transmissions, oil changes, check engine lights.
Get a free second opinion at AMCO with their free multi-point inspection and repair cost estimate. And get a free AC check while you're there. Find reviews and the locally owned AMCO center nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
AMCO, AA, MCO.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
What would it have taken for you to stay in New England?
I don't want to talk about the past because that's not relevant to what's, important in my future and what's going on this off season for me. And like I said, I had nothing but 2 decades of an incredible experience and learning from some of the best players and the best coaches and the ownership of the team.
That's Tom Brady talking about what it would have taken to stay in New England. I guess it was a very cliche-laden news conference or teleconference phone call for Tom Brady. Not surprising with the Bucs media. And I think we said this a little bit yesterday. I think the untold part of this, or if you haven't read a lot on the Brady stuff, and I'm not saying I'm the most read on it, but I've read a couple articles and some that have really hit me and been like, okay, that makes sense. That's why it happened. And a lot of it was, this is a guy that said years ago that he thinks he can play until he's 45, 46 years old. And there were a lot of doubters, and there have been a lot of doubters. But it sounds like the Patriots themselves were big doubters. Mm-hmm. The fact that he didn't get a longer-term extension and had, I think, multiple chances to get it, and they didn't lock him up, I think that ticked him off. And I think that kept with him. And I think, who knows how much that alone weighed in on this, but it obviously stuck with him and maybe to the point where like, well, you want to keep signing these deals, you're going to lose me.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of that going on, which, listen, anybody who's competitive would sit there and say they want to do that they would, when you don't get the extension or you only get one for a year or two, whatever it might be, you'd be like, well, wait until this one comes around. And then 2 years later, you're like, well, we won a Super Bowl and we've been here. Well, he stuck to his guns. It is my interpretation of it. Who knows? So what would it have taken? I think it would have taken a commitment by the Patriots to see what he saw, that he can still play at a high level, and he's 43, 44 years old. Now, he has to go do that in Tampa instead to prove that he really could have.
If Tom Brady willed the Patriots by some miraculous means to an AFC championship game, do you think the Patriots re-sign him then?
No, I guess I don't think it was the Patriots' unwillingness to do it this time around. I think it was the unwillingness to do it the last go around.
Oh, the last go around.
So
okay.
The fact that they didn't sign him to say, hey, we are inking Tom Brady to a 5-year deal, so he will end his career if he chooses to at that time. But we think he can play until he's 45 years old. Well, they never did that. And by the way, I'm not sure that would be the smart and prudent business move to do at the time. The odds are against that. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to go back and say it, but I'm telling you, I think that's where a lot of the angst lies. Now, there could be a lot more than that. You heard the conversations even 2-3 years ago that there was a lot of back and forth with Kraft and Belichick and Brady and the power structure. 20 years is a long time to work with a guy, I think, like Bill Belichick. 20 years in the same place is tough enough. Even if there is success, I think there's complacency that sets in. Kuz asked the question the other day, and I said it last week. I think moving to another place, moving to another job revitalizes you. And when you're 43 years old and playing quarterback in the NFL, sometimes you need a little extra boost, a little revitalization. Mm-hmm. And I think this gets the job done. And that's to go with probably any employee at an employer's place. I think you get a little more creative. I think you get a little more jump in your step. Usually when you go to a new place, they wanted you, so you feel wanted.
Of course.
Did he not feel wanted in New England anymore on these 1- and 2-year deals? I think there's a little bit to that even in Tom Brady's world.
That's why I always say, man, when in terms of big money contracts, and people say money talks, yes, but at the same time, it's what the money represents. And the money says that we want you this much more than another team would want you. So I think it comes down to, just feeling wanted and feeling loved, which is funny because we always talk about the quarterback's feelings and all this stuff. Well, this is another example of a quarterback in Tom Brady who felt like he wasn't wanted in New England, and he did something about it.
Absolutely. He had the power play to be able to do that. I said during our 10 minutes and 5 questions, or 10 questions in 5 minutes, which has become 10 questions in 10 minutes and 20 minutes and beyond. But that's okay.
Just call it 10 questions from now on.
We're the ones keeping the clock.
Yep.
I said my hot take. I jumped in with my interrupter and said, Jags going to win more games than the Patriots this year.
Oh, don't worry. It's on the books already. I have it here.
Well, the response from one is, what are you smoking?
Yep. There it is. Yep.
I think somebody else said seconded. Thank you.
Ooh.
Oh, no. That was about the Bison.
Can I change my hot take real quick or not?
Actually, Doug just said, when was the last time you were checked for fever?
There we go.
Listen, here's the deal on the – why do we think the Patriots are going to be so good? Well, first of all, so good's relative. There's how many wins do you think the Jags are going to have? Well, I think the over-under is around 5.5.
Yeah.
And so the Jags getting to, I guess for me to feel like I have a chance at this bet, they'd have to overachieve and get to 7 or 8 wins. I don't think the Jags will win at 9 games or 10 games. Quite frankly, I don't think I'll predict them to win 8 games. But I'm betting on a bad New England season. I think it's hard to win in the NFL. And the Patriots are about to find that out. I don't think just because you have Bill Belichick, you automatically get 10 Ws. I know it's been like that, but you don't have Tom Brady anymore. And I understand what people are going to say. Well, the year that he didn't have Brady, he had Castle. Well, go look at that roster compared to what they're going to have or looks like they're going to have. It ain't the same.
They had a pretty good defense last year, Brent.
They did have a pretty good defense, but it's an aging defense in some areas too. And I just think they're going to have some issues, man, with this whole transition. That's what I'm betting on. It's more on them. And, yeah, I need a little bit of a bump from the Jags. It was supposed to be a hot take, people.
Yeah. Can I change my hot take around real quick?
Sure.
What was my original hot take?
Fullback.
Oh, the fullback. Probably it's going to happen, whatever. D.D. Westbrook's going to have more touchdowns than D.J. Chark.
Ah, very good. I like that.
I like that one.
That's good. I actually thought about going with Westbrook being more of a factor.
Yeah.
But that's a good one.
Okay, cool.
I like it.
And I'm back.
That will be sexier than the fullback edition.
And right? Trust me, the term sexy and fullback has never been compared together and ever in a sentence. So,
and by the way, your mom was listening to the last segment. She votes for painting houses over strip club DJ.
I think my job as a strip club DJ and a punk rock singer might be out because Mom said I'm painting houses. So, I mean, if she wants her house painted, I can just paint it for free. That's kind of a crazy way to ask for me to help her out. Maybe she's angling a little bit, which I can come back home and help her anytime she wants.
That's very nice of you.
Yes.
How much of a fall off do you think the Patriots will have?
I mean,
I know you have a lot of faith in Belichick, man.
I have a lot of faith in Belichick. I have a lot of faith in the way they do things. And I have a lot of faith in saying that Tom Brady didn't play good last year. And look at how well they did. Now, the anomaly is going to be, well, look at how many touchdowns their defense scored last year. And as someone who had their defense in fantasy football, ESPN 690 league champion, what's up? I noticed how good that defense was. And can they replicate that? Absolutely not. I don't think anybody's going to ever replicate what
they're on a record pace in the first 6 games.
It was absolutely
their schedule
insane
was extremely weak in the first half.
How much they're scoring. But you want to talk about weak schedules, though. Let's talk about the Dolphins twice a year. And I get it. Miami beat them last game of the season, but come on. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Let's talk about the Jets. I mean, to me, that's 4 wins right there.
But those aren't going to be gimmies, man, anymore. That's my point. Are those gimmies anymore for the Patriots?
Who do the Jets have that scares you?
Well, they're better at quarterback.
Sam Darnold?
I would take I would take Sam Darnold over the quarterbacks, any quarterback that the Patriots roll out there right now on their roster.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that, but Sam Darnold doesn't do it for me, and we don't know what Miami's going to do yet. I mean, are they going to go for Tua?
Okay, here's the deal. They're at Buffalo. You got obviously Buffalo, a team that right now you wouldn't pick them to beat them.
I like them winning the division.
Okay, so say they're going to lose 2 games to Buffalo.
Sure.
I mean, you might not, but you might. Might.
Yeah.
At Houston.
Yeah, I mean, I think Houston beats them, but once again, Houston's a mess right now, I think. But go ahead.
At Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, Kansas City's got that all day.
At Chargers.
Oh, I'm taking New England. Chargers don't scare me. Melvin Gordon's gone off Sunday. Can he stay out through the whole season? No, I'm not scared of the Chargers.
At the Rams.
It's a West Coast trip. I'll give it to the Rams, but the Rams don't scare me either, Brent.
Okay, so then you got Miami, Buffalo, Miami, Jets. Denver.
Win. Oh, I'm taking Patriots all day.
At Vegas.
That sounds so weird when you say that. Patriots.
Versus Arizona.
Patriots.
Against San Francisco.
San Fran.
Against Baltimore.
Baltimore.
At Seattle.
Seattle.
Okay, so you said Arizona, Vegas. You said Denver.
Yeah, they're going to beat Denver.
You said Chargers.
Chargers.
So that's 4. And if you have them sweeping the Jets and that's 8.
Better believe it. Yep. Should we go over the Jaguar schedule real quick? And you can talk to me about how we feel about it right now?
Well, you said 8, but I don't know if they're sweeping the other games against their division.
Yeah,
Jets and Miami.
But they
couldn't even do it this year.
But they could easily beat the Bills.
They could. I don't see them going 4-2. I think they're going 3-3 in their division. And then I think the Chargers are better than them. I think Houston, Kansas City, the Chargers, the Rams.
Who's throwing the ball for L.A. right now? Who's their quarterback?
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor. I know. I don't like him either. But San Francisco, man, Baltimore, Seattle. That's a tough schedule.
Those are hard games.
I mean, they have a tough schedule.
Yeah.
You guys think I'm crazy. Write this down. What day is it?
I told you, we're
March
on the
25th.
books, right? I mean,
March 25th.
It's in stone right here, sir.
After looking at
The
that
Jaguars
schedule, I
are
feel
gonna have
better.
a better record than the New England Patriots.
Patriots are 6-10 at best.
I'm done. What time is it? We got 2 more minutes.
You wanna end the show
I
early?
gotta sit through this. I'm trying so hard not to scratch my eyes and just, but I can't because, everything going on, and I don't want to give a bad reaction to the fans out there watching me on camera, but I'm this close to just gouging my eyes right now. All right? This close.
You guys,
so close.
Yeah.
6-10 for the Patriots.
They're no longer invincible, man. What were the Patriots last year?
Good.
10-6?
I don't know. I mean, they went to the playoffs.
Well,
Patriots.
they actually had the 2 seeds. So they must have been like 12-4.
Yeah. We got. I mean, they don't make it easy on Wikipedia, do they? They went 12-4 last year. Yes,
Gosh, they went 12-4.
12-4,
really?
Brent. Yeah, but go ahead. They're gonna have 6 wins next season. Okay. You think Bill Belichick's gonna allow that to happen?
See, you give too much credit.
Oh,
well,
dude.
listen.
Oh man,
Bill Belichick allowed it to happen in Cleveland.
I'm telling you right now, if the New England Patriots win 6 games next season, it's going to be a Netflix documentary where Bill Belichick goes out of his mind and he might hurt somebody. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to threaten anybody, but he might hurt somebody.
If the Patriots only win 6 games next season, you have to go jump on the 4-foot gator that's outside the
Oh,
window.
yeah, you see the gator out there, by the
Yeah,
way?
I did.
I know. I want to take a video with him, but we didn't have time.
We talked to Gators yesterday.
Is he still
and
out
Kuz
there?
was like, here we go.
Probably.
We bring the Gator in.
Okay, well, if he's still out there, I'm going to go out there after the show.
Listen, I mean, how are the Patriots scoring points?
I don't know, Brent. I mean, you got Sony Michel.
Miami's
You got
defense
James
might be better
White.
than the Patriots.
Can we relax? How?
They're more invested.
Come on. They're more invested. I mean, that's great, and that looks good on paper, man, but come on. You still have Stephon Gilmore. Go
What
ahead.
if you do it this way? Name the teams that will be worse than the Patriots next year.
Careful now, because I'm this close to having.
Oh, come on.
I'm this close to having an
See
aneurysm.
Austin lose
I'm
it.
this close to having an aneurysm. I'm telling you,
You think
this close.
Listen, I've been here before. It's like I never thought Tiger Woods could shoot 82 in a golf tournament and that he couldn't chip. Well, it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, he went years without winning. It happened.
No,
like,
and listen,
Bill Belichick is not. He's not invincible to that stuff, but people think he is.
Hey, and I get it, man. Greg Popovich, I think, is the best coach of the NBA, and he's struggling as well.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I just think with the defense that they still have, and the head coach, and there's I don't know. I don't see them winning less than 8 games. I really don't.
Jags, I'm going to need a little help here now. You got to do your part.
Brent's all in on Miles Jack and the Jacksonville Jaguars beating up the Patriots record. Good luck to you, sir. What does Vegas have New England at right now?
Oh, I bet they have it 8.5.
Oh.
I bet they have it. The Jags are like 5.5, did I see? Or maybe even 4.5.
They still have. Oh, by the way, Patriots still favored to win the AFC East, by the way, in Vegas.
With how many wins?
I'm checking it out, man.
See, Vegas
close
is
everything,
playing you a fool. That's why. Vegas knows you're going to put money on Patriots. Vegas is betting on the degenerates that don't even know that.
Jaguars at 5.5 right now.
Vegas is betting on the degenerates that don't even know Brady's in
Here we go.
Tampa.
Kuz, we're not leaving yet. I got the odd shark thing right here. We're staying on. I don't care who the next show is. I really don't care. Who is it? Will Kane? Deal with it, dude. Well, this Wi-Fi is just
Sarah Spain.
Sarah Spain. I don't know who you are. You just deal with it. We're almost there. It's pros, man. Sorry. What a bummer.
What an answer.
Hey, tomorrow, the lead of our show, the over-under on the Patriots win tomorrow.
Yeah.
You okay?
It's hard to leave the show. But okay, leave, whatever.
Hey, maybe you can tweet it out or something.
We can tease it for tomorrow.
Maybe Austin Lane 1 will have it.
Yeah, okay.
We'll try to find that. See if he can get it.
I'm done. I'm not saying goodbye to everybody.
I'll see you on TV, CBS 47 and Fox 30
Maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
tonight.
We'll see. I don't know. A lot of things could happen since then.
Special guest Austin Lane 1. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
My rookie year, we had these pills that we would swallow. It goes in your stomach, and then they can come by with like a scanner, and they can see what your body temperature is. Each pill that we took, and keep in mind, it's 90 guys in training camp. Each pill cost